It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. Tonight from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, the Penguins meet the Detroit Red Wings. Hello again, everybody. This is Mike Lang, along with Paul Steigerwald, and the Penguins battling the Red Wings for the final time this year. They have had a pair of victories against Detroit, but the Penguins right now in the midst of a losing streak that has reached 3, the longest of the year, and they've got to solve some problems, Paul. They've had trouble scoring some goals, and they've also been troubled in the power play.
No question about it, Mike. They have only 5 goals in their last 3 games, and they're having a tough time coming up with that big goal, something they were doing earlier in the season. You know, when you see Tom Barrasso play the way he has in the last couple of games, he makes those big saves to keep them in games, and in the past, they would respond to that and get that big goal. And the other night, they hit 4 posts against the Minnesota North Stars. Their big guns aren't scoring, and we'll talk more about that in the scouting report. But also, on the power play, they're only 4 for 28 in the games that Rob Brown has been out of the lineup. And I really think that they're going to have to figure out a new way to work that power play, maybe make some changes on it or make some more adjustments, move the puck a little quicker and read each other better. That's what Mario Lemieux was saying anyway, and I believe that. And I think the Penguins, if they can do that, will start to live again by that power play, something that won them a lot of games during the first part of the year.
Quickly, we look at the Red Wings, and right now they have come off a victory over the New York Islanders, but they're 1-3-1 in their last 5 at home. They're just kind of cruising along here atop their division with not too much pressure from behind.
Yeah, you know, they used to take so much pride in their goals against, and big article today in the paper about how Jacques Demers is not happy with the goals against average this year, and I think the Red Wings used to be noted as a defensive club. They got away from that last year and became much more offensive-minded. Now they seem to have lost that balance between offense and defense. Penguins hope to take advantage of that tonight.
All right, we'll see what happens. The Penguins against the Wings. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it with us coming up right here on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Open up. They're on headsets.
Pittsburgh with a record of 15 and on the road this year.
They're on. They're talking.
Red Wings are 15. As we mentioned. Penguins right now trying to break a 3-game losing streak, and their record on the road 11-15-2. The Red Wings 3-6-1 in their last 10 home games. The Pens have lost 5 of their last 6, and the power play has struggled of late. 4 of 28 in the last 3 games. And at center ice, Dave McElwain to begin center ice for the Pens. Coming up from Muskegon when he had 37 goals. He'll play out here with Troy Loney and Phil Bourque. The Red Wings control the draw, moving right to left. Decked out in the home whites with the red pants, and the Penguins in the dark traveling black uniforms with the gold numerals and the white trim. And the Pens watch Gerard Gallant steered to center to Steve Yzerman. Yzerman, the Wings' leading scorer, tapping to the Penguins in. Barrasso, Penguin goaltender tonight, out here against Greg Steppen. The Wings trying to make a play in the Penguins in. They can't. Bourque wrestles back for the Penguins. Phil Bourque now to the Detroit line, cuts across down the far side, moves in, shoots it, and missed the net. McElwain gives chase, but he can't come up with it. Yzerman will. Steve Yzerman with 55 goals on the year. His next goal will break the Detroit record for the most in one season. It's held by Yzerman right now and John O'Grednick. They both have 55. On the move is Troy Loney now, cutting back to center ice, and he'll flip into the right wing corner of the Red Wing zone. Steffen will leave it for defenseman Rick Zombo of Detroit, number 4. On the left side to Gerard Gallant. First minute of play, no score here at the Joe Louis Arena. Puck is poked back into the Penguins in, and Paul Coffey on for the Pens, paired with Jimmy Johnson. Looks now for Jock Callender, who'll play the right wing on Lemieux's line. Bob Airy on the left wing. But the Red Wings have it, and they bang it right back in behind the Penguin net. Barrasso will leave it for Bob Airy. He didn't take it, but Coffey will. And here comes Coffey flying out of his own zone to center ice. Shoot went long right off Steffen's arm. Bounces in front. Jim Pavese and Rick Zombo gather in to get the puck, and Zombo sails it back to center for Detroit. Now it'll be Jim Johnson of Pittsburgh to Paul Coffey. Looks for the Callender on the lead pass. It came through to Bob Airy. Into the Detroit zone. Left side. Shoot it up the boards around to the right wing corner. Lemieux went in. He'll take the puck for the Penguins. He's belted on the play by Pavese, but got it to Jock Callender. Callender hit along the boards by Sean Burr. Lemieux gets it, put it in front. Bob Airy there trying to turn and shoot it. Can't. Callender try to shoot it. Penalty coming up against Detroit. And the Red Wings are going to be shorthanded. Kerry Fraser will call a slashing minor here against the Red Wings. 1 minute and 47 seconds in to period number 1. Let's play musical chairs here and move the microphones. Thank you.
Okay, can we talk now? Yes, we can. All right, we got a scouting report to do. The big guns need to get going, no doubt about it. You can see it there. Dan Quinn with no goals in 7. Coffey, no goals in 8. And not for a lack of effort or chances. Quinn hit the post a couple of times. Coffey has 21 shots now in his last 3 games, counting the one he just took. Randy Cunningworth has not scored a goal since January 17th because of suspension and injury, obviously, but need to get him going, too. Penguins will have the power play, a slashing call against Rick Zombo.
And the Penguins, second in the National Hockey League on the power play at 25.7 on the conversion rate. The Red Wings penalty killing is 5th overall at 82%. They've allowed 59 power play goals. Tom Barrasso will look on the faceoff down to the Detroit zone. Danny Quinn of Pittsburgh out here with Randy Cunningworth and Mario Lemieux up front of the power play. Bullock. And that'll be deflected off Greg Stephan. Controlled now by the Red Wings' Mike O'Connell, who'll go to John Shabbat, the former Penn. Right wing to Steve Yzerman. Yzerman cuts his way to the Penguins in, cut for the net, and Barrasso checks it off his stick. Moving back in the play is Lemieux to center. Mario trying to get into the Red Wings in. 155 points on the year. Lemieux has, but O'Connell steals the puck, and he'll blast it down into Pittsburgh territory. Coffey takes command of the puck. Coffey now weaving through traffic, coming to the Detroit line. Down the left side, shoots one, and he just missed on Stephan. It'll come off the right side at Cunningworth. Will he shoot it? No, he goes to Quinn near corner. Back to the right point to Bourque of Pittsburgh. Left side, now to Cunningworth. Sneaking over to the left wing corner for Mario Lemieux. No score first period. The Penguins with the first power play chance of the night. Here's Bourque now left point, right side to Coffey. Chasing him is Jim Nill. Goes to Bourque. Won't shoot it. Goes to Lemieux. Walks right in. Looks back for Coffey. There. Shoots it. Missed the net. Hit the glass. Lemieux picks it up. Left side to Bourque. Back to Mario Lemieux. 55 on the penalty to Detroit. Left side to Bourque. Fires one on. Blocked in front. Here's Higgins. Just recalled again from Adirondack, and he shoots it away to the Penguin zone. Chasing back again will be Paul Coffey. Lead it up on the right wing to John Cullen, who just stepped on. He and Dave Hannon out here. Cullen a drop passes Lapsky back to Hannon. Shoots and scores. Davey Hannon beats Stephan on the short side, and the Penguins take a 1-0 lead. Ah, great balls of fire. Davey Hannon set up, and he made no mistake on the shot from the right wing circle, beating Stephan on the short side, and the Penguins have a 1-0 lead.
That's a power play goal for the Penguins, and Davey Hannon does not have a lot of them this year because he's not out there on the power play that often. But he'll take it any way he can get it, for sure.
Hannon's 5th of the campaign for the Pens, and they have a quick 1-0 lead. And Hannon got rid of it in a hurry. Set up on the play. So Cullen, along with Zalapsky, making the play.
Well, I'm missing a good game here while we get our headsets squared away.
On the move now is Jay Caulfield coming to the Detroit end. His shot partially deflected by Lee Norwood. Put back in front of the net, and here's Stephan of Detroit. Gave it away right in front, but Hannon can't hold the puck. And Detroit cuts back the other way. Lee Norwood. Norwood moving to center circle. He'll shoot it away towards the Penguin goal. Barrasso will watch the play. Penguins have won only one time here in this building since it opened. They are 1-15-2 here at the Joe Louis Arena. They've got a quick 1-0 lead against the Red Wings, however. Here's Norwood now back into Detroit ice, giving the puck to Peter Klima. Sailed ahead, intercepted by Troy Loney. Loney now whips it back around the glass all the way to the far side. Picked off by McElwain to the pin. Trying to put it in front for Loney. Can't do that. And Detroit simply clears the puck ahead. After it is Peter Klima and Zarley Zalapsky. Zalapsky of Pittsburgh. Bumpy Klima. Looks for the puck. He got it to Gord Dineen. Dineen to Troy Loney. Loney's pass ahead to center. Going to Dave McElwain. McElwain giving the disc to Bourque. He's pulled down. Penalty coming up against the Red Wings again. Loney in behind the Detroit goal, and the Red Wings get possession. 1-0 Pittsburgh, 15:40 to go in the first period. Kerry Fraser, the referee, makes another call, and the Pens will go to work on the Penguins Hockey Network. Start of a 3-game road trip for the Penguins, and of course, with tonight, they'll play 8 of their next 10 on the road. They've got a second power play chance. Gilbert Delorme off for cross-checking, 4:20, and the Penguins work again on the man advantage. Played it behind the Detroit goal, and Lee Norwood of Detroit slaps that puck off the boards and right back down to the Penguins in. Barrasso sets up the play for Paul Coffey. Coffey's pass now to Danny Quinn. Right up the alley going to the Detroit line. Now he'll drop it to Lemieux. Has space. Right side of Collin. He's there. Shot save. Rebound. And Quinn can't put it in. Boy, Collin was set up by Lemieux and he had the shot, but Greg Stephan made the save. And here are the Red Wings driving the puck all the way to the Penguins in. Penguin power play 1-for-1. Early in the first period, Coffey Again, scoots out of his own end, quickly to the Detroit zone, right side to Danny Quinn. Quinn pulls up, right point pass to Phil Bourque. Left side to Coffey. Where will he go with it? To Quinn, right wing circle. They're moving the puck well to Bourque, shooting. Stopped by Steffen off his stake. Way to the far corner, and Tim Higgins of Detroit has possession. He'll come up with Jim Nell. And now Higgins goes back into his own end to kill some time.
And you can see the Penguins moving the puck with much more authority, much quicker, Mike, and that's what they said they needed to do on the power play to make it effective. They have to move it around and start pulling guys out of position to get the open man in front.
Golapski and Coffey ramble back now to the Detroit zone. And Coffey cuts into the slot area, shoots the puck, partially deflected Cunnyworth. Shooter towards the net, that's blocked. The Red Wings trying to clear. It's been all Pittsburgh here in the early going. They've had 2 power play chances, but now the Red Wings steer it up ice with 35 to go on the penalty to Gilbert Delorme. Golapski hauls it in. Here he comes, flying up ice. That low skating style, rip it off the boards into the Detroit zone. Cunnyworth chases, goes back to the left point. It comes to Zalapski. Will they shoot it? No. He goes right side to Coffey. Coffey looks it over. Now fires, and gloved by Steffen as he holds on with that big paw to haul it in.
Well, we got a microphone on the boards, and some fan down there is rapping away at the glass, and I'm sure you could hear that in your ears at home.
18 seconds left on the Delorme penalty. 13:58 to go in the first period. The Penguins on a goal by Dave Hannon have the lead. Jacques Demers, the Red Wings head coach, looks on as the Red Wings are 10 points ahead of the Chicago Blackhawks in the Norris division. They're 27, 26, and 9. And I'll tell you, the way it's gone for them, it's one of those situations where, you know, they just kind of cruise on home the final 20 games, and it's tough to get themselves up.
John J. Compton of Finleyville, Pennsylvania, won $100 on our Stroh's power play contest.
Here's Coffey now on the right side. The Penguins with a victory tonight could move back into first place in the Patrick division. They lead 1-0 here, and it's played off the sideboards down deep into the Penguin zone. Shabbat giving chase to Coffey. Shabbat picks his pocket with a nice move. Shabbat now giving the puck to Zombo, but he can't hold it. Now Zombo whacks Cunnyworth. On the move is Coffey. Penalty has expired now. The penalty to Delorme is over. And Zalapski steers the puck into the Detroit zone. Steffen can't handle it. Cunnyworth will. Cunnyworth put it in front. Steffen a little slow in reacting to that, but got the puck away. Lemieux's behind the net. Look out. He's got a man in front. Quinn goes to him. He shoots and scores. Danny Quinn right over the shoulder of Steffen as he beat him like a rented mule, and the Penguins lead 2-0.
Well, you had 2 Penguins wide open. First you had Mario Lemieux all by himself behind the net, nobody around him. And then you had Danny Quinn in front with nobody around him. Kind of a strange situation there. Lee Norwood went to the corner to move the puck around the boards, reverse the play, but he didn't know Lemieux was waiting there to take the puck.
Oh, Steffen saw Lemieux behind that net by himself, and he just said to himself, oh, no, I can't believe this. And Lemieux spotted Quinn when he looked back up. He saw him in front, and Danny, the good goal scorer that he is, went right up the ladder on the rooftop and nailed it.
Norwood just made the wrong decision. He had 2 teammates up near him along the boards, and instead of going up the boards with the puck, he reversed the play and gave it right to Mario Lemieux, and Quinn was smart to come back to the net.
Here are the Penguins again to the Detroit zone. Bourque lays it on the net, and Steffen has trouble with that. Picked up by Loney, his backhander, and Steffen stops it. And here come the Red Wings. Lehman now racing back into the Penguins end. Moves in, look out. And a good poke check play there by the Penguins as Dykstra broke up the attack and sent back down to the Detroit line. Penguins scoring at 6:38. Quinn from Lemieux. And on the move now at center ice is Adam Oates. He gave it away to Chris Dahlquist of Pittsburgh. Gave it right back to Oates. And here comes Peter Kleeman, number 85, into the Penguins end. Lost the puck to Jay Caulfield. Caulfield steers it to his defenseman, Steve Dykstra. Tried to swing it out. Caulfield did. And then Red Wings again poke it back in behind the Penguin net. And Dykstra will set up shop in behind his own goal. Dave Barrow had the hat trick against the Islanders the other night in that 6-5 win. Goes to Caulfield, but he gave it away. Oates has the puck, can't make a play. And Oates will cut right back into the Penguins end, skating with the disc. Knocked down by Dahlquist. Loose puck in between the circles, and now Dykstra hauls it in. He'll go left wing to Randy Cunningham. A breaking Hannon up ahead. Hannon to the Detroit zone. Penguins lead here 2-0 first period. Penguins can't hold on to it, and Detroit will take command of it. Lee Norwood's pass to Adam Oates on the right wing, going now to McLean. Paul McLean to the Penguin zone. Moves in. He shoots it at the side of the net. And Paul McLean leaving the puck for Gerard Gallant now behind the Penguin net. Turning. Eiserman didn't take it. Right side, a shot. That'll miss the mark. And off the boards, Jay Caulfield's been out here a long time on this shift. Caulfield's trying to get to the bench now as he bangs it back to the Detroit blue line. And here come the Red Wings going the other way. Eiserman and Gallant offside at the Penguin line. Here in Detroit, the Penguins lead 2-0 on goals by Hannon and Quinn, and we'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Penguins Penguins, who averaged 35 shots against in their games this year, have held the Red Wings without a shot so far in this game. They're out shooting the Red Wings 9-0 so far in this one, and they've outscored them 2-0.
And we're back to play now from the Detroit zone. It'll be Greg Steffen. Penguins have controlled the game here for the first 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Jim Pavis, the Red Wings defenseman, laid up left side to Gerard Gallant. Gallant on the season with 34 goals. Passing out of Yzerman. He's belted by Jimmy Johnson at the blue line. Penalty coming up against the Penguins. What's this going to be? A tripping call? A kneeing call against Jim Johnson. Knee minor goes against Jim Johnson of Pittsburgh. 2-0. Pittsburgh leading here in Detroit on the Penguins Hockey Network. Well, the Red Wings will get a power play opportunity here. They have 58 power play goals on the year, 9th in the league. And the Penguin penalty killing now is 15th, 77.9.
Penguins penalty killing has been outstanding lately, although Minnesota was 2 for 6 on the power play the other night. Both of their goals against the Pens in the 2-1 win scored on the power play.
Penguins lead 2-0 here in Detroit. Red Wings Yzerman now with the puck and the Penguins in. Somebody's lost a stick. It's Dykstra, and Lemieux sails it up ice, and Dykstra goes to the Penguin bench to get a new blade. And the Red Wings, their power play will have McLean, Gallant, and Yzerman up front with Lee Norwood, and Adam Oates is the point man. Here is Yzerman now, scooting back into the Penguins in, leaving it at the left point to chase after its own pass. Worked away to Norwood, lays it down the boards. The Penguins trying to clear. Dahlquist lost it. Here's Gallant in front to Yzerman. A wrist shot, and he missed the net. Yzerman with that big wrist shot, and he can fire it into the right wing corner of the loose puck. Gallant plays it up the board. Oates gets it, goes quickly to the left point for Lee Norwood. Plays it off the wood, holds the puck right side now to Oates. Back to Norwood center point. Will he shoot? No. Goes to Yzerman, left wing circle, drives it on, and Barrasso made the save and falls on top of the puck. He's got it in his glove, and we'll get a face-off in the Penguin zone with 1:10 to go in the penalty to Jim Johnson, who went off for Neen at 8:46 of the first period.
I think it'll be interesting to watch how Tom Barrasso reacts to the situation, because he normally is used to facing so many shots early in the game and getting into the rhythm of the game. If you remember in the game against the Rangers, he had the long layoff, and then he got into the crease, and there just weren't a lot of shots at him, and he seemed to have a little problem early in the game. And as the Rangers came on in that game, he really got tougher and tougher, and he played a fantastic game against the North Stars. But that's the first shot on goal for the Red Wings, and no goaltender likes to stand there like a statue without any work, particularly early in the game.
Cullen out for the Penguins now in a penalty killing role along with Dave Hannon. I think this is the first for Cullen on the year, killing penalties. And along the near side, Golapski of Pittsburgh trying to find the loose puck, can't do it. Into the near corner, picked up by Yzerman. Yzerman looking for a breaking Gallant, doesn't go to him. Now he does. Left wing circle, shoots it right on. Barrasso the save again. Rebound, Yzerman trying to lay it in front, and he can't do it. John Cullen handles the biscuit and shoots it off the glass and all the way up ice to take the heat out of a hot kitchen. Cullen's going to come off, and Loney will replace him now. He and Hannon will be the penalty killers up front, with Zalapski and Deneen back. On the move is Oates of Detroit, cutting down the left side with 32 to go in the penalty. The Penguin defenseman Jim Johnson. Pittsburgh able to get control of it, and Gordon Deneen makes a nice move to quickly send it back into Detroit territory. Greg Steffen plays it around the near boards for Adam Oates, and right on him is Loney. Goes rink wide with a quick pass over to Dave Barr. Barr of the Red Wings gave it away, and here's Dykstra sailing the puck all the way to the Detroit net. And the penalty is all but over right now with 8 seconds to go. Norwood's pass up to Klima. Left wing to Yzerman, who stays out an extended shift here in front of Klima, shoots it, and that was stopped by Barrasso. Penalty is over. Shot from the right point by Oates, or DeLorme, and that'll miss. Off the boards and quickly back to the neutral zone. Michael Connell of Detroit lays it ahead to Yzerman. Yzerman poke checked on the play by Dahlquist, but the puck does get into the Penguins' end. Dykstra, a left wing pass intended for Lemieux, too hard, and back at center the Red Wings intercept. 8:53 to go in the first period. The Penguins 2, Detroit nothing. On goals by Dave Hannon and Danny Quinn. Now back in behind the Penguin cage. Battling for it is Klima of Detroit and Chris Dahlquist of the Penguin. They jam it up to the left of Barrasso, and they'll stack it up right there with the skates and hold it for a face-off here in Pittsburgh territory. 8 minutes and 41 seconds left here in the first period. The Penguins 2, Detroit nothing on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Penguins have lost 3 in a row twice this season, and the first time they lost 3 in a row, they bounced back to win 7 of their next 10. The second time, they lost only 1 of their next 8. So they have shown an ability to bounce out of these slumps and really come on strong after they break the losing streak.
Sean Burr with Adam Graves and Joey Koser. Koser on the right wing for the Red Wings. And played into the Penguin right wing corner. Now moved away, and the Red Wings steer it in front, and Barrasso deflects that with the goaltender's blade. Left side to Jim Pavis, but he can't hold on to it, and the Penguins again tap it to center ice. Sean Burr out here matched up against Lemieux, so they want that matchup And Jim Pavese now drives it back into the Penguins' end. Bob Airy played it up the sideboards. Sean Burr had it. He throws it in behind the Penguin net. Graves one in. Koser in front. His shot. Barrasso stopped it. Rebound, and there is no rebound as Barrasso gets up. Trying to get himself up on a big jam up in front of the Penguin goal. Yeah, Joey Koser shooting that puck from close range. Now the Red Wings, who watched the Penguins get the first 9 shots in the game, have bounced back to take the last 4. Joey Koser was 6 goals on the year, but more noted, I would think, for the tough play that he provides for the Red Wings. And he is one of the toughest in the National Hockey League. There's no mistake about that at all. He really is.
Barrasso was going to come out of the net to play the puck, and then he thought better of it, and the Red Wings were able to gain possession of it. Koser tried to wrap it around, and he didn't get all the wood he wanted on it. It hit something, came right back to him. Barrasso was down, but he was able to make the save and squeeze that puck between his pads, and then the Red Wings came crashing into that goal crease area trying to find the loose puck.
Former Penguin John Shabbat on the bench for the Red Wings, and Johnny on the year with just a goal in 35 games. Sean Burr, who was doubtful for tonight with a groin pull, but he's in the lineup for Jacques Demers. We'll give you the scratches of both clubs when we get an opportunity.
Shabbat has had a tough time lately, Mike. He has no points in his last 14 games.
Here behind the Penguin net, it comes to Danny Quinn down near side. Cullen at center with Bourque on the left wing and Quinn on the right side for Pittsburgh. And the puck is lifted back into the Detroit zone. Doug Huda with that puck, sneak it ahead back to center, but Gerard Gallant can't take it, and Gord Dineen will. And bank it right back in behind the Detroit net. Huda paired with Lee Norwood as the 2 Detroit defensemen. Laid pass to center to Paul McLean. Has a little trouble getting the motor going, but he got around Dineen. Now down the left wing. McLean goes to Yzerman. Yzerman moves in. A screen shot blocked by Zalapski of Pittsburgh. Looks for the counterattack play, but can't get it out. Zalapski will ramble to get the puck, and he gets it back again. He fell down. Put it ahead to center, however. Here are the Penguins back. Left wing, it's Quinn. Into Detroit ice. Trying to drop it to Cullen in the slot. Broken up, but Quinn gets it back. Dan Quinn around the net. Too hard a pass for Cullen. And Detroit will take command of it. The Penguins go to a line change with 7:07 to go in the first period. And the Penguins leading here in Detroit 2-0. Yzerman cuts his way into the Penguins in. And Barrasso, as the puck sailed to the net, played it away over to Zalapski. Looks up and he has a lot of room. Right side of Callender. Zalapski trails the play. Callender goes wide to the Detroit zone. Pass it in front of Lemieux, and it went off the stick of Steffen. Now Bob Airy of the Pens. Lost it. Here's Jimmy Johnson back on the move in the right wing. The Red Wings trying to take it in, but they can't do it. Stopped by Zalapski to Lemieux in the left wing around Klima. Into the Detroit zone. Cuts across the ice. Great skating by Lemieux. Goes to the right side. Sneak it in behind the goal. Bob Airy had gone to the net, and the whistle sounds. The net came off the mooring. It was dislodged. We'll get a stop on the play. 2-0 Pittsburgh here in the first period on the Penguins Hockey Network. Dave McElwain from Muskegon. He started the game. That's the only shift that he's had on the night. And Perry Ganchar and Dan Farley were sent down to Muskegon. The scratches tonight include Scott Bukestad, Rod Buskus, Randy Hillier, Robbie Brown, and Frank Pietrangelo. We'll get to Detroit's when we get an opportunity. Left point, it goes to Dahlquist in the Detroit zone after the face-off. Lay it behind the net. Cunnyworth centers, but it went right by everybody. And now puck bouncing into the Penguin zone. Dahlquist will leave it for Dave Hannon. Back now to Steve Dykstra. Dykstra turning up ice into the Detroit zone. We'll get an icing call here against the Penguins, and they'll bring it back. Detroit scratches tonight include Bob Probert, who took this pregame skate. He is skating with the club, but not allowed to play. He's the troubled forward, of course, who has had a lot of problems here with Detroit this year.
He's trying to get himself back into shape, Mike, so that he can play. It's not that he's any longer being suspended or anything like that. Right now, he's back with the team, and he's just trying to get himself back into shape so that they can get him back into the games.
Steve Chase on, Randy McKay, Jeff Sharples out of the lineup, along with John Mokasak, Dale Krentz, and Derek King for Detroit.
Jacques Demers, they asked him what he was most afraid he would die of. He said a heart attack, 1. 2, cancer, goals against, and he said, I think goals against is the thing he's most worried about. That shows you where Jacques Demers' head is. He really wants this team to start playing defense again. They were noted for just playing tremendous defense a couple of years ago. Last year, they scored 322 goals. Only 2 teams had more goals than the Red Wings last year, and only 5 teams allowed fewer goals, 269. But they've allowed 243 already this year, and they're 13th in the league in goals against average.
Well, the faceoff will be in the Penguins' end to the left of goaltender Tom Barrasso. And Zalapski and Gord Dineen on defense, and the Penguins control. And it's Zalapski, number 33, behind the Penguin net. Near side pass to Gordon Deneen. Laid up on the right side to McElwain, who does return now. And the Pens are offside as Bork went ahead of the play. So McElwain returns to play center with Loney and Bork. Gilbert Delorme has left the game and gone to the locker room, so we will wait a report on him, the Red Wings defenseman.
Steve Yzerman, the eyes of Steve Yzerman looking on tonight. An unbelievable player. Plus 16, 55 goals, 123 points. Just recently broke the record that Marcel Dion set back in 74-75 of 121 points in a season.
And the Red Wings from the faceoff sneak it into the Penguins end, but here's Bork now cutting back. Phil Bork of the Detroit blue line shoots it long and off a stick and right up into the seats. And we'll get another drop of the puck just inside of the Detroit line with 5:43 to go in the first period. The Penguins lead here in Detroit 2-0 on the Penguins Hockey Network. To his wife Marianne and his son Matthew and all the fans in C24. No, we can't do that. I'm sorry, Jeff. No. Here's the face-off now from the Penguin, the Detroit end, and a lead pass going down to the Pittsburgh zone. Coffey goes back. He'll take control of it. Coffey and Jimmy Johnson out here. And Coffey sends a long pass intended for Loney. That's too far into the Detroit into the rink. And the Red Wings spin it around the near side, trying to clear it out. They can't do it. Jimmy Johnson goes in deep on the play, overskates the puck though, and Peter Klima hauls it in for Detroit. Klima at center to Adam Oates. And Oates now going to Doug Huda, and a penalty coming up here against the Penguins' Dave McElwain for pulling down Peter Klima. And the Red Wings have a second chance here in the first period on the power play. Guess what? We're going to take a break. 5:09 to go. First period, 2-0 Pens on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Dave McElwain goes off for interference at 14:51. Peter Klima racing through center ice to get to the loose puck, and McElwain just put the stick on him and seemed to just be holding him up just a little bit, and Klima went into the treadmill act and fell down, and I think he drew the penalty there. So the Red Wings with their second power play chance.
Detroit has scored 58 power play goals on the year. They are 9th in the National Hockey League in scoring on the power play, and a shot from the right point by Oates went wide. Yzerman behind the net, sneaking around to the near side, and up with it now will be Lee Norwood of Detroit. Norwood right point pass over to Oates, back to Norwood. Norwood left wing to Steve Yzerman. He's the trigger man. Yzerman wheel and deal. Penguins in a box defense right now. Lemieux and Hannon the penalty killers, and it goes right off the stick of Norwood back to center. Lemieux chasing him. Lemieux leading the National Hockey League in shorthanded goals with 9, and the Penguins have scored 16 on the year. And again drilled long and deep into the Red Wing zone. 1:18 to go on the McElwain penalty. Second power play chance for Detroit. Zalapski takes it away. Loney is decked by Norwood, and Gallant can't get into the Penguins' end. And Hannon diving for that puck, and that's just a case of hustle right there by Dave Hannon. Good play. On the move is McLean going to the Penguins' end, right side. Yzerman left point now to Norwood. Throw it down the boards and behind the net, and Zalapski cut it off before McLean can get there, and Dave Hannon takes the check to make the play and clear it up ice. The Red Wings are just not beating the Penguins to the puck, and the Pens are going after it.
No, the Red Wings aren't jumping here at home tonight, and the Penguins seem to be really alive in this game.
Oates now, right up front. He's got a man there, and a quick wrist shot right on Barrasso, and that stop is made. As right in front, Davey Barr had a good chance against Barrasso. Less than 35 to go on the penalty. Here's Adam Oates now, cruising back as the Penguins clear to the center, and the Red Wings are offside as Gallant and Oates collide with one another. Well, big save by Barrasso there on Barr, who cut it in alone on him from that right wing circle. But the Penguins are down now to less than a half a minute to go on the penalty to Dave McElwain. Dave Hannon and Dan Quinn have scored first period goals, and Pittsburgh leads here 2-0 at Detroit.
Adam Oates is a great playmaker, and he threaded that puck all the way across to Dave Barr, who took the shot immediately, but Barrasso read the play. He was ready, in position to make the save on Barr. Unfortunately, the Penguins got back, got to the rebound, and cleared it away.
Barr had his second career hat trick against the Islanders the other night, and of course the big talk of the National Hockey League and with everybody today is the Kelly Rudy trade going to the Los Angeles Kings. And we will see those players on Saturday night.
Right. Did you read where Wayne Gretzky actually approached Bill Torrey at the All-Star game and said, what will it take for us to get Kelly Rudy away from you? So Wayne Gretzky's a GM now in Los Angeles too. Or at least he's representing the GM, Rogie Vachon. They were able to make the deal. A lot of people felt that the Kings were the team, just like the Penguins, that just needed a great goaltender to put that whole puzzle together. And now you got to figure that they have the potential to really upset somebody in the playoffs. Gretzky, you know he's going to perform well. And Penguins play those Kings on Tuesday, March 7th, a 10:30 p.m. game, and it'll be on our KBL Entertainment Network and our radio network.
Face-off Penguins in to the left of Tom Barrasso. And Dave Hannon wins the draw from Yzerman. Moved around to the right point, looking for it is O'Connell. He can't get to it, and here's Hannon chasing, being checked from behind by O'Connell, still into the Detroit zone. Hannon falls down, and O'Connell turns and goes the other way. Here's Peter Klima with that great speed. Moves in on Jimmy Johnson, cut around, he moves in and shoots it right on, and Barrasso made a tough save on Peter Klima. Klima's one of the few guys in the league, boy, that can make that move consistently. He has tremendous speed, lateral movement, and he is just a talented hockey player. Now here's O'Connell. Barrasso stopped him cold, however. On the move is Yzerman to the Penguin line. He shoots it right on, and Barrasso gloves it and holds on with 3 minutes to go in the first period. So Tommy's been tough when he's had to be here in this first period, and he just stopped Barr and Klima on great scoring chances.
Well, I said we were wondering how he would respond. He's responded very well.
Remember when the Penguins were out shooting the Red Wings 9-0?
Yep.
Now it's 9-7. So here is the situation with 3 minutes to go. Great move by Klima.
He faked the shot on Johnson, and then Jimmy put the stick out to poke it away, and he pulled it back and then brought it around him. Once Jimmy made the move to reach out and poke it, then he was caught kind of flat-footed, and that enabled Klima to make the move around him and bust in on Tom Barrasso, who made a great save on Peter Klima. Klima's been red hot with 10 points in his last 9 games. In fact, the line of Klima, Oates, and Barrs combined for 16 goals and 37 points in the last 9 games. So now they have 2 great scoring lines with the Yzerman line, Gallant, and on the left side, of course, and McLean, and now Oates, Klima, and Barr.
Penalty coming up here right from the face-off, and it's going to be against Detroit. Here's Lemieux coming back into the Detroit zone down the left side, has a chance here, moves in, and goes to Cullen. He shoots and scores. John Cullen just sends it into an open net, and the Penguins take a 3-0 lead. Oh, Michael motorcycle. Well, the Pens had a delayed penalty coming up against the Red Wings, and Lemieux just took it and put a perfect pass on the stick of Cullen. And I think you could have scored that one, Paul, the way he put it on his blade.
Lemieux took it wide, and it looked like he might cut inside, and then he just kind of moved it over to John Cullen at the last second. He threaded the needle, too. Great play by Lemieux, and Cullen didn't make any mistakes. Stefan had to come out and take care of Lemieux and get the angle on him. And Mario was able to move it over to John Cullen, the right-handed shot, and he just had to deposit that puck into the net.
Well, there was a delayed penalty coming up against the Red Wings, but I don't even know if Barrasso got off the ice. He was headed off when the Penguins scored. Arian Lemieux will get assist on the goal, and Cullen notches his 12th of the year. And the Penguins all of a sudden are up 3-0 here in Detroit. Here's Lemieux with a steal, and he might have a chance on a breakaway. Lemieux coming down. He will get that opportunity against Stefan. Moves in, makes his move, and a big save by Stefan on this right pad. Boy, Stefan just kicked that right leg out at the very last second to deny Mario Lemieux on the breakaway. Lemieux had to beat 2 Red Wings and blew away from them and got the chance to score, but Stefan came up tough. Now Coffey of Pittsburgh back at center right, giving the biscuit to Jim Johnson. 2:14 to go here in the first period. The Penguins lead 3-0. Rick Zombo relays the puck over to Paul McLean, and on the move he gets it to Steve Yzerman. Yzerman quickly into the Penguins' end. Push it by Jimmy Johnson. Johnson comes over. Yzerman went in, and Yzerman is hit by Johnson and knocked off his skates. Lemieux takes command of the puck. Lead pass for Quinn. Good short little pass over to Coffey into the Detroit zone. Coffey moves in against Zombo. Coffey shoots it. Scores! What a wrist shot by Coffey! And the Penguins now have a 4-0 lead, and you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Boy, did he shoot that puck, Coffey.
Well, the dike has exploded. You know, it just kind of gave way. We told you that Coffey, Quinn, Lemieux were having trouble finding the net and producing offensively. They were getting the shots, getting chances, but the puck just wasn't going in for them. But once it does, man, it comes in bunches with these guys. Coffey cutting in. He just kind of froze Stefan for a second and then blistered one underneath the crossbar on the short side. And you could hear it all the way up here. He wrung it off the back of the net, those frames up top.
Number 22 for Coffey, and a pretty little pass by Danny Quinn in motion, just tapped it to him, and he was off and flying.
The skill players are getting some room out here tonight, and you got to look out. The Penguins have now touched Stefan for 13 goals in 4 periods of hockey.
So Lemieux has picked up 3 assists in the game. Danny Quinn made the play to Coffey, his 22nd of the year, and it's 4-0 Pittsburgh.
Assisting Dan Quinn.
And here is the puck back into the Detroit zone. After it'll be Lee Norwood. Norwood going to Peter Klima. Well, the Red Wings just appear to be in that mood. What hit us? The Penguins beat Detroit 10-5 the last meeting in Pittsburgh as the Penguins exploded with a big third period. But Detroit's got to be stunned right now, and the Penguins lead it already 4-0. Remember that dream I was telling you about last time we were broadcasting? Wrong game. I had us up 4-0. Here's Deneen going over to Cunneyworth with a minute to go. Head lead pass down to Lemieux. Cuts in the backhand shot. He's pulled down. There'll be a penalty coming up against Zombo. Rick Zombo hooked Lemieux. There wasn't much question about it at all, as Lemieux still got the shot off, and Detroit's going to be shorthanded here in the final minute of play in the first period.
Well, the Penguin forwards have just had so much space coming up ice. There's nobody around them, and the Red Wings just aren't getting back, and the Penguins are jumping on their chance to bring the puck up ice. They scored on a 2-on-1 on the goal by Cullen. And the Red Wings right now are just leaving their own end bare, and they're really making it tough for their goaltender, Steffen.
Boy, and you have these games at home, too, and the Red Wings are going through it right now. But the Penguins basically have dominated the better part of the period.
Jim Nill picks up the penalty for hooking.
Nill does. Well, I didn't see Nill around Lemieux. It's a 4 and an 8, but nonetheless, it's still a penalty. And the face-off in the Detroit zone. Here's Cullen out with Cunneyworth and Lemieux on the power play with Bork and Coffey as the point man. Cullen has it. Left side of the Detroit zone, comes in and shoots it right in front. And Cunneyworth had it in, skates in the post too, and now can't put it in. It was loose to the left of the net, and he just couldn't find it. Here are the Red Wings, John Shabbat. Throw it up ahead to Steve Yzerman at center ice. He'll shoot it long off the glass behind Barrasso. 32 to go in the period. Penguins lead here in Detroit, 4-0. Yzerman with a steal, and the Penguins in now. Sends it across back to center to Rick Zombo. Zombo to Norwood, and the Red Wings blasted long and hard. Again off the glass behind Barrasso. Just 16 seconds to go in the period. The Penguins must hurry it along now. Here's Cunneyworth to the Detroit line. He is checked on the play, belted, and Yzerman takes control of the biscuit, and he'll fire it up into the Penguins' end. Period will end with the Penguins leading 4-0 unless Coffey can score from this long range to Cullen. 1 second, shoots it long, and Steffen makes the save as time runs out. So the Penguins enjoy a big first period. Hannon, Quinn, Cullen, and Coffey scoring. And at the end of one, the Pittsburgh Penguins trying to stamp a 3-game losing streak and take first place in the Patrick Division again. Lead 4-0 on the Penguins Hockey Network. Penguins on goals by Dave Hannon, Dan Quinn, John Cullen, and Paul Coffey have a 4-0 lead here over the Red Wings at the end of one period. The Penguins outshot the Red Wings 13-7 in the period, and Dave Hannon, of course, on the power play. Lemieux has 3 assists in the period. Quinn is 29th, Cullen number 12, and Coffey is 22nd on a blistering wrist shot that beats Steffen. Well, there are a lot of plays during the NHL season that don't exhibit the greatest examples of skill, speed, and grace. We've packaged a few of those plays together in our segment of the NHL's best plays of the year.
Back of the Joe Louis Arena where the Penguins are meeting the Red Wings tonight. With us during this intermission, the coach of the Pens, Gino Briaco. Gino, I want to put you in a hypothetical situation. I'm going to make you Mr. Shoemaker. I'm going to put you in the third hole at Pimlico behind the horses. You tell me how you're going to finish the race in the Patrick Division.
Well, we're going to finish the race on the upswing. The Patrick Division is tough, but I really think our team, starting tonight, we're going to think playoffs. We're going to try to think that we're going to play similar to the way we're going to play in the playoffs. If Mario can get his thing together, there's no reason why we can't end up higher than second.
All right. you got the place money anyway.
Well, let's face it, we have to aim high. I think starting out this season, we never did talk playoffs, and I think that was something, I think it was just engendered with the team. We would always say we're going to make the playoffs this year. Maybe we didn't aim high enough, so we never did speak of that, and I think it's important that we aim as high as we can to get as high as we can.
Gene, you talked about trying to get a style now established for the playoffs. Are you going to change a little bit from the run and gun that they've basically gone with all year? Are you going to try and incorporate some new defensive type of play for the team?
No, it's not that we're going to change. It's just that we're going to maybe be more insistent on a little more detail. I think, when you have the kind of club that we have, you certainly don't want to hold people back. You try to have a system where the team comes out, but the individual gets better, and I think that's important. I think a youngster, you can see by that, would be a Brownie, and where we know he has inefficiencies certain places, but we also know, we didn't know how great he could be, and here he is with, at 98 points, and that's what we want. I think we want to have a system that bodes well for the team, but the individual gets better, because unless each guy gets a little better, we're not going to get better as a team. So all we're going to be doing is looking into more detail. Well, we just went over a lot of little things in the game that maybe we can brush up on. Obviously, our discipline is one area. We can't argue with officials because, they always win. And things like that. We've even had to incorporate a little fine deal. It'll go in the players' fines, and it'll be their money. And we don't want their money. We just want their attention. And I think we deserve that.
Quickly now, looking at the power play with Rob Brown out, he's going to be gone at least another 3 weeks. I know that's been something that you've been trying to work with and trying to solve, and it's an ongoing process, isn't it?
No question. We certainly miss Brownie, but everyone gets injuries. We have to live with that. The thing that we have to do now is to make sure that the people on our power play are rested enough going into the power play. I think that's what's happened. I think if you see us missing goals the other night and missing opportunities that we were making good on earlier, the reason was I think we're just not quite as sharp. We could say they're tired, but everyone gets tired. I think what happens is maybe going into that, maybe we're staying out there a little too long. We have to watch Mario a little bit more, on his even strength shifts. Maybe, don't be out there any longer than he has to. But, he's a guy that paced himself so well. And all season, we made the decision at the 20-game mark to play the players to get us where we are today, knowing full well it may not be the right thing. The right thing is to play for the 80 games, but I was more concerned about us winning games, and that's all we can concern ourselves with. Now we're paying for it a little bit. I think I have a few tired stars on my hands, but they're professionals, and they'll get back in gear.
All right, Gene, win the race.
That's right, win the race.
Okay. Gene Ubriaco has been our special guest, and we'll have more from the Joe Louis Arena in just a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Second period tonight, Dave Levick of Pittsburgh will win a beautiful arrangement of flowers, compliments of Augie's Flower, and a gift shop at 3 locations, 800 Main Street in Sharpsburg, 625 Liberty Avenue downtown, and 10900 Perry Highway in the North Hills. And to enter the Augie's Flower, Dave Levick of Pittsburgh will be our contestant. During each telecast, a contestant will win an arrangement of flowers if the Penguins shut out their opponent during the second period of a KBL game. Into the Augie's Penguin Shutout Period by sending your name and address to Augie's Penguin Shutout Period, CO KBL 294 West Steuben Street, Pittsburgh 15205. And be sure to include your phone number as well. So be a part of it all. The Augie's Penguins Shutout Period. If you can say it 3 times fast, you should be a contestant. We are at the Joe Louis Arena where the Penguins lead Detroit 4-0. And this reminder to you, the area's only major indoor truck pull event returns to the Civic Arena for 3 days of exciting motorsport action. The 24th through the 26th, that's through this Sunday. The U.S. Hot Rod Association Truck Pull Championships will feature modified trucks, dragsters, Vorian, the jet-powered transforming robot, and tickets are available at all choice seat outlets. That's on right now at the Civic Arena. And AWA Wrestling on Friday, March 3rd. Some of the great ones coming to Pittsburgh. Newly crowned heavyweight champion Larry Zbyszko of Pittsburgh will face America's hero Sergeant Slaughter in a title match. Group and youth discounts are available, so you ought to be there for the big wrestling battle on March 3rd. Yes, 4-0 Penguins at the end of one. Penn's trying to bounce back, and we'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network. Penguins took an early 1-0 lead at 3:11 of the first period as Dave Hanning got the goal from John Cullen and Zarley Zalapski. Hannon beating Stefan on the short side to get a power play goal. The Penguins,
that
all
goal,
one of the period.
That goal by Hannon was not an easy shot, Mike, because it was coming at him, and he had to one-time that puck on the forehand, and he was on his off wing, so it was a tough shot by Hannon, and he put it in.
Then Lemieux left alone behind that net.
Yeah, well, that was a bad play by Lee Norwood. He just gave the puck away to Lemieux. He gave it to Dan Quinn. Penguins took advantage of it.
Out-of-town U.S. scoreboard. The Hartford Whalers lead Quebec at the end of one, 2-0. Dave Tippett and Tom Martin scoring. The Penguins begin this period on a power play as the Red Wings have Jim Nill in the penalty box. Gilbert Delorme is re-injured his back. He'll not be back tonight for the Red Wings. At least that's the word we received. Jim Pavese trying to clear out of his own end for Detroit. Up the left wing to John Shabbat. Shabbat of the Red Wings. On with Steve Yzerman, and Shabbat goes now left side to Yzerman. Look out, he has some room here. Yzerman cuts across around Coffey, shoots it right on, and Barrasso makes that save. Nice little skating move by Yzerman as Coffey took the little fake and moved in towards the outside, and Yzerman cut in. Here's Lemieux now, cruising back. All systems go for Mario, and he flips it in behind the net. He has 3 points in the game so far. Quinn gets it back to Lemieux, left wing boards, Detroit zone to Coffey center point. Shoot it towards the net for Quinn. Bounced right by him, and Zombo picks up the loose puck and works it back to center. Penguins trying to put it back in the zone. They can't. Yzerman with 10 seconds to go in the penalty to the Detroit Red Wings. Cuts around a man and shoots the puck just wide. What a brilliant play Yzerman made there to drag it around the man who was checking him. I think that was Coffey again. Well, he has Coffey's number here on this shift, and here's Randy Cunnyworth drawing the puck ahead. Jim Nill comes on, but the Penguins great pass. Lemieux to Coffey, left side shooting. Oh, Stepan almost froze right there. Now back in front, Coffey centers it. Went right by a man. Cunnyworth can't come up with it. Boy, Stepan saw his whole life go by him in a heartbeat there. Here is Oates now, right side. Sneaking in behind the Penguin net. Coffey looking for the puck. Nill had it, and here's Lemieux. Got him right back with Cunnyworth. Cunnyworth and Quinn on the wings. Lemieux going to the Detroit blue line. Cuts across on the right side. Penguins lead 4-0. Can't get the puck to Cunnyworth, though. Doug Huda blocked that pass. And Huda spin it up the center. How would you like to be a goaltender seeing that guy come at you, Coffey, 25 feet away, and knowing that he's going to crank it up as hard as he can and whistle it by your left ear? In Loney of Pittsburgh. Up ahead to center to Hannon. There's one man back to beat O'Connell. Hannon's going to fire that puck up the blocking glove of Stepan and hit the glass. Zalapski in deep in the play. Penguins lead 4-0 here in the second period. We played 2 minutes. And Detroit able to move the puck away out of its own end. Sean Burr, he doesn't appear to be full strength. Wrap it back into the Penguins in, and the Red Wings are guilty of icing as Burr returns to the Detroit bench, and he appears to be favoring that groin pull that he has.
You know, Sean Burr, you would expect to have been shadowing Mario Lemieux, but he's not really shadowing him. He's just trying to match him up, Jacques Demers is, when he can, but it's a big difference for Lemieux. The last 2 games, he's had a guy draped all over him, and now all of a sudden he must feel like he's out there all by himself compared to what it's been.
It's double trouble as Simmons Business Systems honor goals by the double trouble number players. Paul Coffey, Mario Lemieux, Zarley Zalapski, and not Robbie Brown, who is home injured with a shoulder separation. Each goal worth $25 to Make-A-Wish Foundation. And the goal scored tonight by Paul Coffey. Simmons Business Systems has donated $3,350 to Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, Don Simmons was over at the arena the other day. A nice party for the kids from Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish Foundation was there. And
well, the Red Wings now flip it back into the Penguins in, and Barrasso helps move the puck away. Right back down to the Detroit line. Zombo on the near boards. Gave it away to Phil Bourque of Pittsburgh. Left side of Cullen. He's into the Detroit zone, going to Loney. Tried to shoot it. He was turned around, the left-handed shooter, and couldn't get a good shot off. Now he's belted on the boards, and Detroit takes control of the puck. Rick Zombo leads the Red Wings in a plus-minus on the year at a +18. But again, the Red Wings make a mistake at center, and the Penguins dump it back into Detroit territory. Babis trying to play it out. Comes off a stick to Kleeman, now up to center to Oates. Adam Oates now cutting across the ice. Dahlquist belts him as he had his head down in the Penguins counterattack. A 4-man rush coming up. Dahlquist is going to come off. He got hurt on that play. Down the right side, Looney shoots one, and that'll miss. Back come the Red Wings, and they can't take control of it in center. Coffey backpedaling. See a fluid skater or what? Lead pass going to Lemieux. Up now to Erie on the left wing. Cuts in. He's up in it by Huda. Still on his stomach. Makes a play to the net. Blocked in front by Mike O'Connell. And Doug Huda returns for the Red Wings, but has passed too far. And the Red Wings again having trouble making a play. From inside the Penguin line, Paul Coffey looks for Jock Callender. McLean came in to stop him. Now Gerard Gallant has room. Left side, Penguins in and shoots it right between the legs of Barrasso. But it trickled wide of the goal. And Bob Erie now relays it to Mario Lemieux. Zigzag up ice into the Detroit zone. Cuts for the net. Put it in front. Erie can't get there. He's too well covered by Paul McLean. To the blue line. Outside it came. And Jimmy Johnson knocked it back in for the offside call. Penguins here in Detroit. Lead 4-0. 16:09 to go in the second period on the Penguins Hockey Network. And Gallant just drilled one right off the right leg of Barrasso, sneaking between the legs, but not on the net. And we're back to action again from the Detroit zone. We've played 4 minutes here in the second period. The Penguins lead 4-0. All the scoring came in the opening frame. And Dineen intercepts a pass up ahead. Penguin defenseman goes to Quinn, dropping into the Detroit zone. And Lee Norwood will take possession. Norwood of Detroit, four-man rush to the Penguin line. Down the right side to McLean. He stood up nicely by Zalapsky. Can't make a play. Zalapsky now knocks him down. Dan Quinn of the Penguins. Turn it up off Bork's stick. McElwain plays center here with Bork and Quinn on the wing. Bork on the left side. And again from center ice. The Red Wings will be guilty of a two-line pass. That's an offside pass. Well, a lot of folks in from Pittsburgh to take this one in. Doug Ruby wanted to say hello to everybody back home. Georgia Marie Connis, formerly of Pittsburgh. Evan Zanuck and Peter Contouris of Mount Lebanon wanted to say hello. Kevin, Joe, Dave, and Tim, they're all here. And Bob and Dave from Natrona Heights say hello to everybody back home. And Paul Steigerwald says hi.
How you doing?
Live. Right in behind the Detroit net after the face-off. And the Red Wings coming out now. The center is John Shabbat. Shabbat will work out here with Sean Burr and Joey Koser for Detroit. Play to the left wing corner. Sean Burr trying to make a play, and he plays it around the horn to John Shabbat. Shabbat bumped along the near side by Steve Dystra. Koser works it free, got around hand, and Koser comes in with a backhand shot. And that was deflected. Right in behind the goal, Sean Burr, Detroit in front. Koser through without his helmet. He shoots it right at Barrasso, and he made the save. Joey Koser taking one of the pins against the board. Now Koser and Dystra colliding. Play is whistled down. There really wasn't much going on there. The play really negated, I think, by the referee. Going to be a high sticking call coming up here. And it looks as though it might be against Joey Koser or a high stick on the puck. Let's wait. 4-0 Pittsburgh. Second period on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Sits down for high sticking at 5:04. And right after Barrasso made an unbelievable save again on Joey Koser, who was standing right in front, point blank range, and Barrasso, great reflexes and great pads. He's got brand new shiny white pads too, and he just has been using them in practice over the last several weeks trying to break them in. He said they're still not totally broken in, but his old ones were just too small, and he just felt that he had to go with the new ones. So he's got the new white pads, and he's used them a few times tonight to make some big saves.
Well, they're coincidental minors that will not affect the play on the ice. Lemieux comes out here with Jock Callender and Bob Erie. Erie on the left wing, Callender, of course, on the right. Face-off Penguins in. Shabbat will check Lemieux. The Penguins control the draw. Bob Erie coming to the Detroit line. Bounce it up into the Red Wings in. Steffen put it away. Picked up with the Pens. Callender, and he puts it right in behind him to give the Penguins a 5-0 lead. Steffen gave that one away. He doesn't know whether to cry or wind his watch right now. Steffen just gave it right to Jock Callender, and the Penguins lead 5-0.
Callender now has 3 goals in 3 games with the Penguins. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? He's the guy they brought up to replace Rob Brown on the roster. And we know that Rob Brown's absence has certainly affected the Penguins' power play, but Callender has come up to score 3 goals for the Pens.
It'll be an unassisted goal by Jock Callender, I believe. It went into the corner, and then Steffen came out. He challenged. He probably should have never left, worked it out, and then had to try and get away, and he was too far out of the net, and Callender picked up the loose puck and drilled it home. So the Penguins now lead 5-0, and it's that type of night for the Red Wings. They can do no right, and the Penguins right now can do no wrong. Here's Adam Oates, left wing side of the Penguins in. Adam Oates, wheeling deal, and Callender takes it away, goes to Lemieux. Lemieux, right side, might have a chance here, puts the shot, and it was on edge and let it go, and it went wide. 5:14 the time of the goal. They're going to get 2 assists on that goal. Here are the Red Wings and the Penguins in. Klima in front. Can't make a play. Klima belted by Jim Johnson. 5-0 Pittsburgh. Lemieux and Quinn will get assist on that goal. Right point, Zombo shoots one deflected by the Pens, and here's Lemieux rambling down the right wing. He comes in against Jim Pavis, puts the brakes on. Short little pass to Coffey, moves in, shoots and scores!
Oh, my God.
Paul Coffey's second goal. And the Penguins now lead 6-0 and stop the press. Another big wrist shot by Paul Coffey beating Greg Steffen. The Penguins now lead 6-0. Lemieux gets another assist. This goal comes at 6:06. And will they make a goaltending change?
You bet they will.
Yeah, the Red Wings will. When Hanlon's going to come on.
How about the drop pass by Lemieux? And Steffen came out, and he's just chasing now. He has no idea where he is in that crease. His angles are all messed up. He was caught flat-footed by Coffey. He knows that Coffey can buzz it by the earlobes, as you said earlier, Mike, and that time he put it right along the ankles. And he doesn't know where Coffey's going with that shot. And
No,
Paul Coffey has made 2 absolutely perfect shots for goals here inside the posts.
Well, Steffen's going in to wind his watch now. Here comes Hanlon on. Lemieux. The assist on the Coffey goal. I think that's the only one because Lemieux had knocked down a pass that was intended for the net going in. And the Penguins now lead 6-0. The wrist shot by Coffey. And they'll give Hanlon an opportunity to warm up here. His record 12-11-6 on the year. And a goals against average of 3.83.
Hanlon's been around a long time.
Well, in the period, the Penguins scoring at 5:14 and then at 6:06. Penguins had just 3 shots in the period, 2 of those goals, and one the result of a giveaway by goaltender Steffen, where they gave the Penguins 2 assists on the goal. But he had that stick on it, directed it right to, and tried to get it out. He was 35 or 30 feet from the net, and Callender just picked it up and whipped it into an open net. Well, you know, in fairness, as Paul mentioned to you, Steffen's having a tough night. However, the shots that the Penguins are making are unbelievable. I mean, they are really flying high right now.
It's really funny how you go on a little drought like that, as the Penguins had only 5 goals in 3 games, and as we told you at the beginning of the telecast, several of the big guns finding it difficult to find the back of the net, and now all of a sudden they're just exploding and making absolutely perfect shots for goals, particularly Paul Coffey.
Lemieux now with 5 assists in the game. Zunenski's said hello to everybody back home, and Mike, Phil, DJ, Chris, and Charlie drove up for the game here to see the Pens in action, and Michelle Dunn also chatted with us. And Joe from Section 1, longtime Pens fans, live in Troy, Michigan. Hanlon the netminder now for the Red Wings.
Record of 12-11-6. He's played in 31 games. Steffen has played in 32. Hanlon with a goals against average of 3.83.
Mike O'Connell now wraps the puck in behind the Penguin net as we go back to play after the goal by Paul Coffey, his 23rd of the year. In the left wing corner of Pittsburgh territory, McElwain tying up one of the Red Wings. It comes to Troy Loney. And now you would expect McElwain to see really a ton of ice time here going on. 6-0. The Penguins lead. We'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network. Bell Delorme has left the game, we told you earlier, with a bad shoulder. He'll not be back tonight. Dave McElwain out with Phil Bourque and Troy Loney against Yzerman's line. Yzerman at center with Gerard Gallant and Paul McLean. 6-0 Pittsburgh here in Detroit in the second period. It's Arnie Zalapski of Pittsburgh. Looking up, going to Bourque. Bourque comes through to center red and drills it in behind Hanlon, and will stop it with a stick. Hanlon replacing Greg Steffen at the 6:06 mark. And here on the attack of the Red Wings, Yzerman cutting on the right side. Got it to McLean, trying to go back to Yzerman. He's too well covered by Deneen. And Zalapski in an easy motion, going to skate it right out of his own end with people chasing him. Going to McElwain. McElwain moves up, going back for Zalapski. The pass too far. Mike O'Connell of Detroit. Turned around on the play by Loney, but does dish it off. And here's Gerard Gallant. We're 7 minutes into the second period. Penguins lead 6-0. Yzerman takes control of the puck, but it hopped off his blade back to center. He'll chase after it. Swing it back to Lee Norwood. And Norwood drills it deep into the Penguin zone. Off the boards. Jim Johnson of Pittsburgh. Out now to Zalapski, who will fire it away into the Detroit end. And the Red Wings go back and pick it up again. Drop pass to Rick Zombo. Zombo can't find Klima. Went off his stick, but up with it is Adam Oates. He does get into the Penguins in. Adam Oates in the slot for Norwood. Man right in front of Klima with a wrist shot, and Barrasso stops him cold. Lead pass for the Penguins back, and Barrasso has made several big saves here in this game. The Penguins lead 6-0. This shot for the right point down to Zombo, and the Penguins in. His shot right on stop. Rebound, score. Peter Klima gets the rebound goal. And the Red Wings are on the scoreboard to make it 6-1. Peter Klima. Well, that goal comes at the 7:54 mark.
We told you that line's been doing very well. Koser was on there to play the wing instead of Barr, but what a great shift for that line, with Klima having a great chance a moment ago. Barrasso made a big save on him, and the shot came from the point, the rebound right out to Klima, and he made sure that he got it past Barrasso that time to make it 6-1.
Well, the Red Wings are looking for a spark to get him back into the game, and maybe that goal by Klima will do that.
It's his 12th of the year.
Here is Quinn now to the right side of the Detroit end. Put it in front for Hannon, trying to cut back in. He went behind the goal. Turn it back to the right wing for Randy Cunnyworth. Cunnyworth dump it behind the net, but Zombo played it right wing to Joey Koser. Well, I don't have the assist.
Zombo and Oates.
Oates got the other assist.
Yep.
All right, and Klima the goal, his 12th, as Paul said to you. Penguins still putting pressure on the Red Wings in the Detroit zone. Sean Burr gets possession. A right wing pass to Joey Koser. Hopped up his chest. Right back down to the center ice area to Randy Cunnyworth. Drives hard into the Red Wings in. Going for the net is Callender. Cunnyworth can't make the play to him, though. See his turn around, and Cunnyworth's going to come off here. He's tired on the shift. Penguins trying to get Lemieux's line out. Lemieux with 5 points already in the game. All assists. Here are the Red Wings into the Penguins in. Norwood beat it towards the net off John Shabbat. And Bob Airy of Pittsburgh looks for Mario Lemieux, and he has him. Lemieux with all the room in the world. Going to the Detroit line. Cuts across now on the right side. Lemieux trying to feed it to the net for Callender. That pass was deflected by the Red Wings. Off a leg, and Sean Burr scrambles back for the Red Wings. Burr 3-on-3 to the Penguins blue line. Down the right wing, flipping towards the net. Barrasso gloves it right out of the atmosphere and holds on. Well, the Wings starting to come on here a little bit now. They trail 6-1 right here on the Penguins Hockey Network. Well, the Nordiques have scored at Hartford. It's now 2-1. The Whalers lead there. I'll tell you, talk about a big crowd. They are jammed in here. I mean, they are standing room only here, all the way around the entire building.
Don't the Penguins have the record for the largest crowd here, too?
Yeah, they do.
I'll tell you what, I think this crowd might match it.
Left side, Pavese shoots it and just missed the Penguin net on the right wing board. Mike O'Connell. And McElwain, who had his helmet knocked off by Steve Yzerman, out here checking against this line. McLean has the puck. McLean slowed on the play by Zalapski. And with it now will be Gordon Dineen. Around the near side to Bork, and he just lays it ahead. The Red Wings are going to get an icing call here against the Pens. And they'll have to come all the way back into Penguin territory for a face-off. You can see the momentum starting to swing a little bit here for the Red Wings. But they're so far behind, you just wonder whether they have enough to catch up with the Pens leading 6-1. And we're halfway through the game in regulation time. The Penguins have had only 16 shots in the game, 3 in the period, resulting in 2 goals. And the Red Wings have 14 total.
Penguins on the road this year with a record of 11-15-2. And they're only 1 point ahead of their pace of last year on the road, Mike.
Well, we're having some audio problems once again, so bear with us, folks. And here's Dahlquist now controlling from his own end. Trying to bang it out, can't do it. And the Red Wings have it. Yzerman shooting to score. 6-2. Yzerman gets the goal. A wrist shot from 30 feet. And the Red Wings get another one to make it 6-2.
Yzerman now has the record for goals scored.
56 now for Steve Yzerman. Boy, did he put a wrist shot on Barrasso by his glove, and a new record for the Detroit center iceman, Steve Yzerman. He'll get a standing ovation from this crowd at the Joe Louis Arena.
And that's going to bring this place alive, too.
It's alive right now.
Oh, yeah. The Penguins are going to have to buckle up a little bit here. This Red Wing team can score, too. Don't forget. The guys like Yzerman and Oates, and Gallant, and Klima, and Paul McLean. They got a lot of firepower up front.
Well, they're standing en masse here at the Joe Louis Arena for Steve Yzerman, who just cashed in to make it a 6-2 game. So the Red Wings scored twice in a span of less than 2 minutes to make it 6-2. Penguins dump it back into the Red Wing zone. And the Wings clear to center. Yzerman giving chase. Along the near boards, here is Paul McLean. McLean centers in front of Lemieux, trying to get a handle on it. Penguin center iceman does have control of it and shoots it back to center. Yzerman again is 56th at 9:51. Doug Huda controls the biscuit now. And he lays it back into the Penguins in a 6-2 hockey game. The Penguins lead here in Detroit. Along the far side, picked up by Pavis, and the Penguins in. Shoot it right on, and Barrasso makes that save and juggles on the rebound to hold on. All right, we'll return in a moment. It is 6-2. Pittsburgh on the Penguins Hockey Network. Well, we're at. Go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say, just to finish the thought I had earlier, the Penguins only 1 point ahead of their road pace of last year, where they've really made up ground over last year because they're 10 points ahead of last year's pace, is at home, where they're 21-8-3.
Here's Cullen on the right side of the Detroit zone, and his slap shot blocked by Jim Pavis. And it'll hop up from the red seats here at the Joe Louis Arena.
So I think it's important, Mike, for the Pens to pick up a few more road wins, and that's going to do them some good as they go down the stretch of the playoffs, and they do have several road games coming up. This road trip is an important one for that reason. Penguins with 24 points this year compared to 23 after 28 road games a year ago.
The Islanders on Saturday, and then on Sunday night we'll be in Hartford against the Whalers. Penguins will then be back home on the 1st against the New Jersey Devils, and then back to the road again against the Caps. Now a face-off in the Detroit in, a wrist shot by Gordon Dineen. Blocked by Glenn Hanlon to replace Greg Steffen after the Penguins had a 6-0 lead. Lead pass to the Penguins in, Cleveland behind the defense, comes in with a backhand shot, and Barrasso robs him. Boy, Tommy's made a lot of big saves in this game. Believe me, he really has. The Red Wings have had some good chances.
It could easily be 6-5 right now.
Now on the far wing, here is Troy Loney. And he can't get it out. The Red Wings putting pressure on. Now Dineen clears the puck, and this will be an icing call. All of a sudden, the momentum has really turned in favor of the Red Wings. The icing infraction against Pittsburgh. And when you got a crowd this large, and I mean they are jammed in here, everywhere, and they start to become a part of the game, you got to be a little careful.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of what the Edmonton Oilers would do. You know, they would blitz teams, and then they would just rely on Grant Fuhr to make spectacular save after spectacular save, and the final score would be lopsided, but you wouldn't really know how many great saves Grant Fuhr had made. The Penguins right now probably aren't accustomed to this pace that the Red Wings have started to skate at, and they got accustomed to the other pace that was really helping them when they were scoring all the goals. Now they're going to have to readjust.
And the Red Wings now from center ice as the Penguins cleared, bring it right back into the Penguins in. Here's Sean Burr along the goal line, cutting in. He runs interference, runs right into Phil Bourque. Puck left though, but Cullen has command of it. John Cullen of Pittsburgh to Zarley Zalapski to the Detroit zone, stops, breaks on, falls down. Shoots it to the left wing side, and the Red Wings waste a little time in coming back on the counterattack. Lee Norwood penetrates the Penguin zone. But Dineen takes the puck off his blade and whacks it back to center. Doug Huda, Detroit defenseman, looking for room, goes to Joey Koser, and the pass off his stick into the Penguin zone. Zalapski went in, pressured hard by Sean Burr, and belted with a shoulder check. But the Penguins have the puck. Dave Hannon trying to clear, and Shabbat picked his pocket, but gave it right to Gordon Dineen to the Penguins. And they'll lay it ahead up the right wing boards. And Glenn Hanlon will come out and play the puck with 7:45 to go in the second period. The Penguins lead here in Detroit 6-2. Sean Burr. Flip it high in the air. Barrasso will stop it. Penguin goaltender. Move it around to the near wing, and up on the play is Dave Hannon. Hannon to the Pens with Quinn and Cunneyworth. Drop pass for Quinn, and it goes right to Yzerman, and look out, he shoots it ahead. On the rush is Gallant to the Penguin zone against Dykstra. Cut around, he makes a nice move there. McLean scores! And McLean makes it 6-3. And just like that, the Red Wings are back in this hockey game.
And this line continues to rack up points for Detroit. They've had a banner year. A line of Yzerman, McLean, and Gallant. Coming into this game, they had combined for 259 points. McLean picking up his 31st goal of the year, and that record is one that was previously held by the line of Gordie Howe, Alex Delvecchio, and Frank Mahovlich, and that'll show you the kind of scorers that this line is matched up against and set a new record with the Red Wings. Great play, too. Tic-tac-toe type play. Yzerman, Gallant beat the defenseman Dineen and then moved it over to McLean, who popped it into the net behind Barrasso.
All right, he beat Dykstra on the play, and then got it over to him. McLean, his 31st 6-3 hockey game now. The Red Wings score 3 times. in less than 5 minutes. And they're back within reach in this game, and here they are again. Klima right side of the Penguins in a wrist shot, blocked by Coffey. Coffey of the Penguins. Trouble on the play. He still looks for room and now passes to Mario Lemieux. On the right wing to Jock Callender. Callender cuts in, and the Penguins are offside at the Detroit line. Well, again, goals by Klima, Yzerman, and McLean. And we've got a 6-3 game now in the second period. And we'll be back on the Penguins Hockey Network. Well, the Red Wings have battled back into this game, trailing 6-0, and Gerard Gallant worked his magic in, put it between the legs of Steve Dykstra and feeding McLean, who has now scored 31 goals. He has 30-plus in 6 of the 8 seasons of the National Hockey League. He's just a natural goal scorer. He puts it in. And the Penguins now looking to add to their lead. I think really they got to get it going here because the Red Wings have the momentum and they're firing away. Here's Coffey looking for Mario Lemieux as a 5-point night, 5 assists for the Penguin captain. Tapped away to the Penguins in. Barrasso's going to come out and play it away himself. Back to center. Doug Huda of Detroit. Oh, he's shouldered by Erie and crunched against the boards, and now he's hit from behind, and Huda goes after Bob Erie. Huda is now attacking Bob Erie from behind as Erie put him into the boards, and Huda went right after the Penguin left winger.
I don't think that was really a cheap shot from behind, as Huda might have felt it was. It looked more like a shoulder check to me. Huda just was kind of relaxing, going towards the boards, not thinking he was going to get hit. But that's what happens in the NHL. Sometimes you get hit, and Huda didn't like it too much. And then he should get a penalty, and I don't think Erie should at all. We'll see what happens.
Well, we'll wait and see what Kerry Fraser hands out. 19,875 on hand here tonight to take this one in. Bob Erie hitting Doug Huda. And then Huda came back at him, and then Klima stepped in and hit him.
Yeah, Klima threw an elbow into him, so he should get a penalty too, but I don't know that he will. Huda gets 2 minutes, and that's all they're going to dish out. I think Demers feels that Erie should get a penalty.
Well, Jacques Demers, the Red Wings coach, not too happy with the call.
Could have 2 guys in the box right now.
Roughing call against Huda, and the penalty comes at 13:38. So the Detroit defenseman sent off here, and the Penguins have a power play chance. Penguins are 1 for 3 on the power play tonight. This will be their 4th chance.
And it's a Stroh's power play. And our contestant is Terry Hines of Gibsonia.
And the power play will feature this unit up front. Lemieux, Quinn, and Cunneyworth, with Coffey and Phil Bourque as the point men.
This is a big one for the Penguins. They could really take a lot of the sting out of the Red Wings attack by just popping one in past Hanlon right here.
And Steve Yzerman, and be careful with him working because he's a great goal scorer shorthanded too. The Red Wings have 10 shorthanded goals on the year, and the Penguins have given up a league leading 15. Here's Coffey now to the right of his own net. Lay it ahead to Randy Cunneyworth. 6-3 the score. The Penguins lead here in Detroit with 6 minutes to go in the second period. And Coffey wheeled ahead now to Cunneyworth. Right side of the Detroit zone for Danny Quinn. Quinn of Pittsburgh to the right point to Bourque. Bourque now back to Quinn, halfway up right wing board, skates over, passing left point to Paul Coffey. Coffey trying to go back to Quinn, broken up by Norwood. And the Red Wings get it out. Yzerman, nice play to get in and take it away from Dan Quinn. Just used his body well. Coffey back on the attack, right side to Quinn, Detroit zone. Looks for Lemieux, goes to Coffey instead, left side. Shoots it in front, deflected by Cunneyworth and just off the net. Now Quinn has it, comes out of the right wing corner. Goes to Coffey, it bounced off the heel of his stick and went to center. Coffey already with a pair of goals looking for the HT. Coffey's pass broken up by Yzerman. A minute to go in the penalty to the Penguins. And Yzerman has possession again. Skating with the puck. Stops at center ice. Now looks for room. Lemieux challenges him. And Yzerman directs it up in behind the Penguin net behind Tom Barrasso. Coffey hit by Jim Nill. And the big penalty killer for the Red Wings makes a play to get it to Higgins. Higgins of Detroit. Short-handed of the Red Wings, but the Penguins finally gain possession. And a lead pass to Coffey. Coffey to the Detroit blue line. Drop pass for Lemieux. Look out. Lemieux pulls back. Looks for a trailer. Gonna go rink wide. Broken up. And here are the Red Wings storming back. Nill look for Higgins, but the pass broken up by Paul Coffey. And the Penguins turn and go the other way. Lemieux right side. Detroit zone. Drop pass for Callender. He's there. His wrist shot. Hanlon made the save on him. Rebound. He put it on, and Hanlon stops that one also. Here are the Red Wings back. Coffey and Higgins will never get around Coffey with the speed he has. Olapski comes in, and he's got nowhere to go. Higgins has got to be tired, though. Remember, he was back on the play in the Penguins' end just moments ago. With an opportunity, he's going to race to the bench now. He's dead tired. Coffey, the penalty has expired. And here comes Huda on. Penguins remain 1 for 4 in the power play. Lemieux into the Detroit zone, shooting a glove save by Hanlon. He juggers high in the air and pulls it in. Well, the 3 goals the Red Wings have, and now a save like that on Mario Lemieux. And the Red Wings just keep pecking away. 6-3 Pittsburgh on the Penguins Hockey Network. Well, we told you the Red Wings attendance 19,875, the 96th consecutive game they've had over 19,000 here in the building. And the record set by the Pens, I don't have the exact numbers, it was over 20,000 in here one night. And here's Huda now returning. He had just served the penalty, trying to work it back into the Penguins' end, and it went over the glass and up into the seats. 4 minutes and 3 seconds to go here in the second period. Penguins scored early in the period, a pair of goals less than a minute apart, Callender and Coffey. But then Klima, Yzerman, and McLean scored goals in a span of less than 5 minutes to make it 6-3. Ray Koser looks on the Penguin bench with Gene Ubriaco, Rick Kehoe on the walkie-talkie after Rick Patterson up in the press box here. Steve Lattin, the Pens equipment manager. And Dave Hannon of the Pens handles the draw against Troy Loney and Bob Airy, or with Loney and Airy. Zalapski now back into the Penguins end after the faceoff. Was pushed into Penguin territory. Zalapski spins it up the length of the ice. Norwood goes back, and the Penguins are guilty of an icing play. Well, I'll tell you, the momentum definitely has swung to the hands of the Red Wings right now, and the Penguins look a little lethargic, to be honest about it. They're just not hopping as they were early in the game.
No, it happens when you get a big lead. Sometimes you relax and think it's going to be easy all night. You get into a pattern and a rhythm of a certain tempo, and then all of a sudden when the other team picks up the tempo, you have to adjust to it, and it might take a little while for the Penguins to get back into a rhythm. It's a whole new set of rules now that the Red Wings have established by starting to play some hockey themselves. They weren't playing earlier. And the Penguins can hold them off here for the rest of the second period, and then they go to the third period, and they've never lost when they have the lead going to the third.
Face off to the left of Tom Barrasso, and it'll be Klima unable to get to it. Back to center. Doug Huda steers it right back into the Penguins' end, and Barrasso will leave it for Gord Dineen. Dineen, left wing pass for Bob Airy. Penguin left winger working out here with Dave Hannon now, so really about the first time this year I think we've seen Bob Airy off Mario Lemieux's line. Here are the Red Wings cutting in. Loney pulled down one of the Red Wings, and here we go. Penguins are going to be shorthanded as Peter Klima was hauled down by Troy Loney. And Detroit has a power play here with 3:26 to go in the second period, and you know the crowd is buzzing like bees around a hive. They're anticipating the power play coming up here, and the Red Wings with an opportunity to get back within 2.
Klima got the jump, and boy, when he puts those afterburners on, he really takes off, and Loney got a little nervous, put the stick into his shoulder and hauled him down, hooking at 16:34.
A lot of that is, too, your usual response to a player without that type of speed. You might not get a penalty on him, but Klima is so quick that you reach out in a normal situation, and then he's by you, and you reach up and you got a piece of him and haul him down. And he's not real big either, so he doesn't have a tendency to go down, and he helps it out once in a while. Six to 3 the score. Well, if you were with us in the first period, went away and came back to join us, yeah, it has changed. The Red Wings have come back in this game after the Penguins led 6-0. Yzerman in the left wing circle, the Penguins in against Dave Hannon. Left point, it comes down to Norwood. Shoots one, deflected. Hit the glass behind Barrasso and hop again into the seats. Boy, we're still going in and out with the audio, so bear again with us.
A lot of the players referred to the 2-1 loss to Minnesota as a goaltender's game. Tom Barrasso played extremely well for the Penguins. Kari Taco played well for the North Stars. This is not a goaltender's game. Even though Barrasso has made some spectacular saves in this game, it's just that the Red Wings are getting a lot of guys wide open. He's made at least 3 or 4 saves, I would say, on guys who are wide open from point-blank range and not standing still either. Guys who get open, bust open, and have come right in on goal at a good rate of speed, and he's made some big saves.
Lemieux beat Eiserman on that face-off and whacked it up into the Detroit zone with 1:47 to go in the penalty to Troy Loney. And the Red Wings on the power play. Bork with the steal. Lemieux looks for the puck, but he can't get it to him as Bork was hauled out. And the Red Wings now take command of it. They'll lead a rush back. McLean lost it to Lemieux. Lemieux, Detroit zone, comes in with a wrist shot, and that's stopped by Hanlon off his left pad. Lemieux pulled down on the play, and it goes on, and here is Adam Oates. Oates rushing back to the Penguin line. Four-man break into the Penguins' end. Goes to the right point. Stops to Eiserman. Back to Oates. Center point. Man open Norwood. Back to Oates, right side. Adam Oates of Detroit. Wheel and deal. Going to Norwood. He's at the left point. Shoots it. And it's stopped in front by Barrasso. Now picked up by Adam Oates again. Swinging it behind the Penguin net to Steve Eiserman. Eiserman pulls back. They come after him. Dropping up neatly now to Paul McLean. Trying to go back to Eiserman. Lemieux chases after him. Got it left point to Norwood of Detroit. Shooting. Blocked in front by his own man. And the rebound grabbed by Lemieux. And now Jimmy Johnson, one of the Red Wings, in front of the net, push and shove. And I think we'll get some penalty time dished out here. The Wings had Paul McLean, and he and Jimmy Johnson were whacking each other pretty good. And I think they're both going to go off here. McLean and Jim Johnson both will take a seat in the penalty box. 17:37 will be the time of the minor penalties. And the Red Wings still have less, just about a minute, 57 seconds to go on the penalty to Loney. Penguin winger.
Johnson went out in front of the net to take care of McLean, and they just started pushing and shoving, and Johnson came back for one more shot and kind of put him in a headlock. Jacques Demers has had a few more gray hairs on his head than he had the last time I saw him. He is hoping the Red Wings will get it together here for the stretch drive and into the playoffs.
Roughing the calls to both men, McLean of the Red Wings and Johnson of Pittsburgh. We're back to action again as the Red Wings have a power play, and they drill it deep into the Penguins' end. It comes off the left point now. Around to Norwood. Shoots it. Oh, what a shot that was. I didn't think he could shoot the puck that hard. A stop made by Barrasso off his stick. Hurt him behind the Pittsburgh net. Dave Barr getting the puck over Gerard Gallant. Gallant to the right point to Adam Oates. 2 minutes to go in the period. Over to Eiserman. Slap shot. Stopped by Barrasso off his right leg. Now played along the far wing. And Dave Hannon of the Penguins looks for a man breaking. It's Bob Airy. Airy chases back to the Detroit zone, but Oates overhauls him and has the puck. And here are the Red Wings now storming back with 20 to go in the power play. On the move, Oates into the Penguins end for Eiserman. Stops, left wing boards, cuts around a man, skating well, moves in. Here's Gallant shooting, blocked in front. Picked up by Norwood. Now left side, Eiserman's wide open, comes in, he put it in front, score! Eiserman gets the goal in front, and it's 6-4. Adam Oates set him up, and Eiserman deflected it in. I believe that's the way it'll go. And at 18:30 of period number 2, the Red Wings strike one more time. Well, they got the puck over to Adam Oates, and Eiserman was right around that net. Oates then moved in, and it was off. It may have been off Gallant or Dave Barr. We'll wait and see. I thought Eiserman might have deflected it. We'll just have to wait and see who they give the goal to. But the Red Wings have scored on a power play, and they've made it a 6-4 hockey game. Penguins led 6-0 in this game. Dave Barr will get the goal. It will not be Eiserman. Barr will get credit for it, if that in fact is the way it's announced. 18:30, the time of the tally. What a turn of events here in this game. It is Barr. Norwood and Oates on the assist, and Dave Barr gets the goal. So a power play goal by the Red Wings, and the puck is moved back to the Detroit zone. Hanlon plays it away. He's not given up one yet. He replaced Greg Stephan after the Penguins scored their 6th goal of the night at 6:06 of the second period. But since that time, it's been all Detroit. They have scored 4 straight, and they jam it now in the right wing corner of the Detroit zone and hold it for a faceoff. And the puck will be dropped in the circle to the left of goaltender Glenn Hanlon. Again, Barr is 23rd of the season. McLean has scored. Iserman and Klima. Penguin goal scorers tonight. Paul Coffey with 2. Jock Callender, John Cullen, Dan Quinn, and Dave Hannon. Zalapski's going to come off for the Pens, and they'll put on Coffey along with Bork. Near paired up. And Quinn, Bob Area, and Mario Lemieux on the front line, Detroit zone. The faceoff won easily by Sean Burr. Pulled behind the Detroit net for Lee Norwood with a minute to go in the period. And a 6-4 hockey game. On the move is Huda. Huda slap one to the Penguins in. It comes off the left side. Oates in front. Oates has had a big game tonight. Centers in. It came right to Huda. Stops it with a glove. Lemieux chases. But Huda directs it in behind the Penguin goal for Dave Barr. And cleared away off the glass and right up again out of play. And we'll get a face-off in the Penguin zone to the left of Tom Barrasso. Hartford now in the second period leads Quebec on the U.S. Air scoreboard 3-1. Yeah, if you tuned out after the Penguins got ahead 6-0, Danny Quinn's gone to the Penguin locker room, but it appeared to be an equipment problem. He is headed off. Just 40 seconds remain in the period. Adam Oates. I'll tell you, the last time these two clubs met in Pittsburgh, Adam Oates really impressed me. Despite the Red Wings losing by the score of 10-5, he really appears to have come on now for this club. Oates went to RPI. He was signed as a free agent by this club. That was when they were dishing out some big bucks for free agents at the time. And in fact, the Penguins went after one in Dwight Mathiasen, but it never did pan out and play for the Pens. Now Hannon comes to the Penguin bench. And what's he going to get? A new stick? What's he coming off? Yeah, he wants a new blade. So Penguin coach Gino Briacco has Lemieux, Loney, and Hannon out. Let's see who handles a faceoff. With Gordon Dineen and Zarley Zalapski, it'll be Lemieux. And the Red Wings counter with Adam Oates on the ice with Dave Barr and Peter Klima. The Penguins trying to get it out of their own end after the drop of the puck. It goes to the far corner. Klima goes to Oates. He centers it in front, and Dineen got a piece of it, but not out. Now went right by Huda at the right point. He just couldn't control it. Looked as though he would keep it in and get an opportunity to shoot it to the net, but did not. At center ice, Huda giving the puck to Peter Klima. He lost it. Dave Hannon finds Lemieux. 15 to go in the period. Cutting for the net is Hannon's got him there. He swoops in. A stop by Hannon. A big save there. With only 12 seconds to go in the period, Hannon stopped. Now back come the Red Wings. 7 to go in the period. Here's Dave Barr trying to beat Zalapski. Can't do that. Tap behind the net. Oates centers. And time has run out. That's it. What a period of hockey. Huh. Unbelievable. We have played 2 periods here in Detroit. And the score at the end of 2. The Penguins 6, Detroit 4 on the Penguins Hockey Network. Second period, the Penguins scored twice early on to take a 6-0 lead against the Red Wings. Callender and Coffey connecting. But then Detroit wheeled off 4 straight. Peter Klima, his 12th at 7:54. Steve Yzerman is 56 from Lee Norwood. That made it 6-2. And the one that really seemed to get the Red Wings going even more, McLean, made it 6-3 at 12:39. And Barr in the deflection on a power play goal at 18:30 in a 6-4 game now through 2 periods of play. Shots on goal in the second period. Detroit with the edge, 15 shots against the Penguins 9. And the game totals right now dead even at 22 apiece. Paul Steigerwald is standing by with Steve Yzerman of the Red Wings, and let's go downstairs and join him now.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Yes, the captain of the Red Wings, Steve Yzerman, who just broke the record for goals in a season with his 56th goal. You could have 57 there, but your teammate Davey Barr got to stick in there first.
Yeah, Oatsy had, actually there was a couple of us in front of the net there with our sticks on the ice, and he managed to hit one of them.
Steve, it's like 2 different hockey games. First game, the first period rather, or first game, I guess, 9 shots by the Penguins, none for the Red Wings, and then you came back storming in the second period.
Well, you know, no one likes to lose at home, and especially lose by a big score. You know, the first period, we made some mistakes, although we were playing pretty well. We made some very costly mistakes, and that resulted in goals. Fortunately, in the second, we kept up the momentum, we kept skating, and we had our chances in the first, and finally in the second, a few of them went in, and Glennie went in and made a couple of key saves for us that have kept us in the game, and we've been able to pick away. Hopefully we can get some more.
I got to ask you about the 56th goal, the record. So many great players have played in this building and for the Red Wings, and it must be a great honor.
Well, yeah, things have gone pretty well this year, and I was excited about it. The tradition of the Red Wings has been a great one in the past 50 or 60 years. So I was happy to get it.
Describe that last goal, if you would, the one you just blew past. Tom
Lee Norwood just pinched in at the blue line to get the puck, and it went off his foot and came to me off the boards and cut through the top of the slot or top of the circle, and I just waited for a little bit of traffic to clear and took a shot, and Tommy was screened on it and it was able to go in the corner.
I want to ask you about the Red Wings season so far. You have a big lead in your division. You've had a couple of great years where you went to the finals, the conference finals, and I'm wondering if maybe it's been more difficult for your club this year to keep an interest up in the regular season and play at the top of your game because you've gone so far in the playoffs and really had nothing to show for it at the end. Is the regular season becoming a little bit hollow for you?
I don't think so. At least I hope it isn't. I don't. If you went around and asked the guys, I don't think anybody would really say that. We haven't played obviously as well as we would have liked to, and we haven't accomplished the things so far that we would have liked to, and we're smart enough to realize that if we're playing this way, we're not going to go very far in the playoffs anyways. We've had a little bit of a transition this year, and we've gone to a younger team, and it's taken its time to adjust for us. We're a more talented team, but we need it to get some experience, and in time we'll gain that, and as we go along, hopefully we'll improve, and we can make amends in the playoffs and do a lot of things, hopefully, in the playoffs that can make up for the disappointing regular season we've had so far. But, we finished strong here, and we'll be happy with the regular season.
As the captain of this team, has it been tough at times to keep things together with some of the distractions you've had this year, particularly with Peter Klima and Bob Probert?
Well, at times we've we've gotten a little frustrated or angered, and I think a lot of people have, but it's really been out of our control, and that's we've had our difficulties, sure, but that's not really that's no reason for us to have our goals against greatly increase in what it is, or have our not playing as well or making the mistakes we're making. And that's one of our problems. That's a minor one, and that the players ourselves, we haven't had to worry about that because it's been out of our hands. We've got to worry about doing our job on the ice and playing hockey on the ice, and we haven't done it as well as we would have liked to, so we can't fault any of those individuals for our problems on the ice, really.
Stevie, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations again on your big goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Steve Yzerman, the captain of the Red Wings, has been our guest, and we'll return to Joe Louis Arena in just a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Well, when you watch the fast action of Pittsburgh Penguin hockey, remember the limousine services are provided by Carriage Limousine Service, the Pleasure Trip. Call 488-7000. And the Civic Arena's Igloo Club is holding a grudge match, that is, on Monday, March 6th, starting at 9 p.m. It'll be Ray Boom Boom Mancini versus Hector Macho Camacho on closed circuit. A $30 ticket gets you an all-you-can-eat London broil buffet, plus a seat in the Igloo to see the fight on television. Minimum groups of 4, please, and you can call this number, 642-1890. Also on the card that night will be George Foreman as he continues his comeback in the heavyweight ranks. Also, the Ice Capades will be back at the Civic Arena, and the shows will be held, 10 spectacular shows, March 7th through the 12th. A glittering burst of star-studded entertainment. Ice Capades celebrates the return to romance in an all-new lavish production. And we will hope to see you there. It'll be shows again, March 7th through the 12th, 10 spectacular shows. Tickets are available at all choice seat outlets for both the Ice Capades, remembering that Mancini Camacho fight at the Igloo Club, and also wrestling coming up March 3rd. We've got a 6-4 game where the Penguins lead at the end of 2. We'll be back with more in a moment right here on the Penguin. And legendary Oro Valley Golf Club, located just an hour's drive from Pittsburgh and Ligonier, is the site of the 1989 U.S. Senior Open. You can see some of the golf's greatest stars like Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, Chichi Rodriguez, and Miller Barber as they compete for the senior golf's most prestigious title, June 26th through July 2nd. And choice seat outlets have season and individual day tickets for the 89 Senior Open. That'll be at Laurel Valley Golf Club. And coming up June 26th to July 2nd. We'll be back here at the Joe Louis Arena momentarily on the Penguins Hockey Network. Jock Callender scoring for the Penguins at 5:14. Bob Airy and Mario Lemieux on the assist, not Danny Quinn as we originally told you. And it was just a case of Stefan misplaying the puck and Callender coming in to put it into an open net. That gave the Penguins a 5-0 advantage at that point. And less than a minute later, at 6:06 of the period, Paul Coffey unleashed a wicked wrist shot that was low to the ice right by goaltender Greg Stefan. That forced his departure. And on came Hanlon, and it seemed to spark the Red Wings a bit as they wheeled off 4 straight goals. Peter Klima scoring to make it a 6-1 game at 7:54 on a rebound play. Quick little shot, and the Red Wings were off and flying. Then at 9:51, it was Steve Yzerman from Norwood to make it 6-2. And McLean is 31st at 12:39 from Gallant and Yzerman, and Barr from Oates and Norwood. And that finished it up. So we've got a 6-4 game going to the third, where the Penguins are 25-0-1 when they have the lead going to the final period. We'll see if it holds up. The Penguins with a chance here to move back into first place in the Patrick Division. Now drop the puck, and Doug Huda winds it up into the Penguins' end. Barrasso will stop it. Penguin goaltender around for Troy Loney. McElwain, Loney, and Bork the line to start the third period for the Penguins. They're into the Detroit end. It comes to Zalapski, shoot it in front, and Huda deflected that. The Detroit defenseman. And it is out of play, and we'll get a face-off in the Detroit zone. Well, the next goal is very important, of course, if one is scored. And the Red Wings have this large crowd behind them, and they're just waiting for it to happen, Paul. And the Penguins just got to try and shut it down now and go to work and play some disciplined hockey here, especially on the road. Great opportunity with a 6-0 lead and a chance here to get off on the right track on the road trip.
I heard Dale Talon talking between periods. They're doing this game on Sports Channel tonight. He was saying that the Penguins went into a shell, and I would disagree with that. I think it's more a case of Red Wings just suddenly started to play, and they caught the Penguins a little bit off guard because the Pens just were making so many things happen at a different tempo. And that's really what I think it was. I think it's more that the Red Wings began playing, not so much that the Penguins changed what they were doing.
Also, you got to think back, too, and I think Yzerman hit it on the nose when he talked to you between periods. Here's Delapsky shooting. They missed some good chances in the first period. Barrasso came up with a couple of key saves in that opening 20 minutes. Here's Yzerman now rambling back into the Penguins end, however. And he'll poke it off the boards in behind the net. Barrasso throw it to the near corner, but McLean is right there for Detroit. Paul McLean giving the puck now to Gallant. He centers, but Phil Bork on to take the puck for the Penguins, and he'll tap it ahead beyond McElwain's reach into Detroit ice. And the Red Wings watch the Penguins make a line change as they blast it back into the Penguins zone. Barrasso going to Bob Airy, looks for Lemieux. Beyond his reach, Jim Pavis, the much-traveled defenseman for the Red Wings, into the Penguins in. Drop pass off now to Yzerman. Yzerman wheel and deal. Look out, he shoots the puck, and they hit the heel of his stick. Never got it on the net. Jock Callender in his own territory. Finds Paul Coffey, and Coffey quickly sends it up center ice now to Bob Airy. 3-on-4 to the Detroit blue line. Down the right wing, and Bob Airy of the fence. Sneaking in behind the net. Callender lets it go for Mario Lemieux. Lemieux in front for Coffey, and he just missed. On a shot from the left wing side, and he's taken off his skates. Back come the Red Wings. Remember, Coffey is trapped back in the Red Wings end. Right side, it comes on a bar. Slap shot, and he missed the target. Coffey checks his right skate as he was hauled down. Puck sailed back in behind the Detroit goal. Jim Pavis defensively. Gave it to Coffey at center ice. Coffey, a giveaway to Oates now on the right wing to Dave Barr. Cuts into the Penguins in. Pulls back out, goes across the blue line, sets up, and now dumps it into the Penguin zone. Coffey looks for a breaking Lemieux. Can't get it to him. He gave it away to Oates, and Coffey, who was knocked down on that play back in the Detroit zone, is having a little trouble right now, getting his wheels back. And deflected by Lemieux back to Detroit's into the rink with 2 minutes gone here in the third period. 6-4, the Penguins lead. Peter Klima of Detroit. Near wing pass in his own end to Adam Oates. Oates push it up to Peter Klima. Skates by Hannon, goes to the Penguin line. And he can't make the play, but it comes to Oates anyway. Oates shooting, and a good stick save made by Tom Barrasso. Great reaction save there by Barrasso. And the Penguins dump at the length of the ice. It'll be an icing call. Well, the Red Wings have 4, and they're getting some opportunities here again early in the third. 6-4 the score. Penguins lead here on the Penguins Hockey Network. Penguins by 2 here, and at Hartford, the Whalers lead the Quebec Nordiques 3-1 at the end of 2. Babbage has scored for the Hartford Whalers with Tom Martin and Dave Tippett. Mike Huff has scored for Quebec. Mario Lemieux tonight with 5 assists. And a big save by Barrasso on Adam Oates as he cut in from the left side. Oates was a guy that had the chicken pox. during the course of this season and has bounced back. And as I said, Paul, I think you were gone on the tail end of it. He really has impressed me in a couple of games here this year, and he really has seemed to have found himself signing as a free agent.
He's a smart hockey player, and you know he's an old hockey player. He's not very young. He's 26 years old. He kind of got started late, signed as a free agent out of RPI, and that was back in the days when you still could have free agents. Now they have the supplemental draft in the NHL, and there's no such thing as guys coming out of college who passed their draft age and kind of sneak up on everybody, and everybody bids for him, as the Penguins did for Dwight Mathiasen. Adam Oates, highly regarded, and the Red Wings grabbed him along with a few other free agents, and he's really the only one that's really panned out.
Penguins signed one that was pretty good and still playing with his hockey club, and Jimmy Johnson.
That's right.
Chris Dahlquist also. Here from the face-off, Dahlquist handles the biscuit. He'll flip it ahead now to center in the left wing to Cunnyworth. Wrist slap shot that'll miss the net. Off the near wing, picked up by Joey Koser. Dangerously cut in front of his own net. But he goes now to Lee Norwood. Pass through to center now to Sean Burr. Burr of Detroit. Whacking it behind the Penguin net. Barrasso fell down as he went for the puck. And the Penguins do systematically get it back to center. It hit a stick and bounces up into the penalty box. And we'll get a stop and play.
Barrasso checking his skates now to see if maybe a strap from his pad may have fallen out or something, gotten underneath the blade of his skate. He appears to be all right. Danny Quinn with a goal here tonight and a couple of assists. Danny Quinn has been playing all 3 forward positions for the Pens this year. A natural center, and he's playing the right wing now with Davey Hannon. He's kind of a man without a line at times. In practice today, he was working out with a couple of different people, and you just never know where he's going to play on a given night. He has
a rover.
Tried to do the best with it. The rover, right?
And here back to play in the Penguin zone as the Red Wings dump it in. Gord Dineen, fighted by Gerard Gallant. Jim Pavis, though, takes it to center ice and pokes it right back in behind the Penguin net. Charlie Zalapski. We played 3 minutes here in the third period. Penguins lead 6-4. Lead pass Zalapski going to Dave Hannon. And he'll wrist it up into the Detroit right wing corner. Off the boards taken by Hanlon, and he clears the center. Hanlon has not been touched for a goal as of yet. Greg Steffen gave up all 6 that the Penguins have. And here are the Red Wings again, cruising back into the Penguins' end. McLean goes in behind the Penguin goal. Challenged by Zalapski. Cunnyworth worked it up to the far point, and Dan Quinn now will take command of it. He just shoots it softly into the Detroit zone. And with possession will be Mike O'Connell. O'Connell couldn't get it up ice. The Red Wings go back and have to lay it in their own end. Jim Pavis giving the puck to Mike O'Connell. 4 minutes gone, third period. 6-4 the Penguins lead. And from center ice, O'Connell just tried to blast it back into the Penguins' end and hit a stick and went up into the crowd. We will take a timeout. We'll have a face-off at center ice when we return. Penguins lead 6-4 on the Penguins Hockey Network. Against the New York Islanders. That game will be broadcast on our Penguin Radio Network and on the TV side on TV 53 and Channel 8. Klima from the faceoff had his skates pulled out by Troy Loney as the puck is flipped into the Red Wing zone. Lee Norwood going to Klima, and Klima dump it back to center ice, but the Penguins again draw it back in behind the Detroit goal. Norwood and Huda teamed up defensively, and Huda's pass up to center to Dave Barr. Barr of Detroit got around Dahlquist, but he pulled down. Dahlquist got enough of him to get a penalty, and Pittsburgh's going to be shorthanded. Well, they've opened the door.
Dino Briacco holding his head and in disbelief, I think. Either upset that the call was made and shouldn't have been, or just that it was made. Dahlquist tried to challenge at center ice against Barr, and when he realized he couldn't get him, he had to reach back with the stick, and he got the stick in his right shin pad and hauled him down.
Tripping call comes at 4:08 or 4:28 of the period.
Almost looked like Barr was jumping out of the way of the body of Dahlquist, and then Dahlquist put the blade of his stick into his leg, and it looked like he may have gone down anyway. But with the stick in his leg like that, Fraser made the call.
Power play chance number 4 for the Red Wings on the night. And they scored on their last opportunity late in the second period on a power play goal by Dave Barr. And with possession of the puck will be Adam Oates. Oates coming up. Detroit 9th in the league on the power play. And they shoot it into the Penguins end. Dykstra back on defense. Around the boards, McLean cut it out for Detroit. Right in behind the Penguin net. Yzerman takes command of it. Yzerman trying to center it. Came right through to Norwood. Norwood left side to Adam Oates. Oates of the Red Wings back to Norwood. Norwood shoots it. Where'd it go? It hit something and bounced high in the air to the left point. Held in by Adam Oates. Oates down the near boards to Steve Yzerman. He'll wheel and deal. Yzerman with the stick on the ice. It was Jimmy Johnson. He has to go back and try and pick it up. And the net has come off its moorings. Gary Frazier, the referee, halted play with a whistle. And the Red Wings, Gerard Gallant, apparently felt the Penguins dislodged it. And Gary Frazier talking to Gallant.
Gerard Gallant, a pretty feisty guy with 171 penalty minutes coming into this game tonight. He's got 7 game-winning goals, among the league leaders in that category. An important penalty-killing situation here for the Penguins, obviously. Minute 19 to go on the penalty to Chris Dahlquist.
Well, the Pens are going to put out Phil Bourque and Jimmy Johnson as the 2 defensemen, so Bourque moves back to a defensive position with Dave Hannon and Mario Lemieux up front.
Normally Dykstra would be his partner in these situations, but I don't know if Dykstra
he was just on and he just left.
Okay.
So Bourque came on to replace him.
Normally Johnson and Dykstra play together.
On the penalty killing unit,
right.
They do. And Johnson's been playing with Paul Coffey of late here with Randy Hillier out of the lineup. This face off in the right wing circle, the Penguins in. Yzerman getting control of the draw, right point. It goes to Adam Oates, now to Gerard Gallant. Hannon and Bourque challenge, and Bourque made a nice play to poke it off his stick, and the puck is rolled all the way to the Detroit into the rink. In his own real estate, Lee Norwood takes control of the puck on the right wing side. Going down to the open man McLean. He cuts into the Penguins into Yzerman, has some room, cutting from the net, drops it off to Norwood in his shot. That was deflected. Bourque ran into his own goaltender, Tom Barrasso. Now Yzerman near boards, Penguins in. Giving the puck to Norwood in the left wing corner. The Red Wings trying to set it up here. They trail 6-4. Jimmy Johnson makes a nice play to take it away. The Red Wings hustling over to try and keep it in. Penguins work it free. Back to center with 35 to go in the penalty to Chris Dahlquist. Adam Oates. Detroit point man. He'll cut his way up ice, giving the puck now to Yzerman. He's into the Penguin zone. Turning move. Right side, got a man wide open. Oates doesn't go in and shoot it. He pulled back. Loney challenged him. It comes now to Norwood. Right side to Adam Oates. 15 to go in the penalty. Into the corner and around the boards. Yzerman takes command of it. Steve Yzerman of Detroit trailing by 2. The Red Wings on a power play behind the net. Goes back to Yzerman. Now center point to Norwood. Scoring! The Red Wings get a power play goal. Dave Barr right in front again has scored to make it 6-5 with 13:35 left here in regulation time. Well, Barr, I believe, got the deflection in. And the goal with only 3 seconds to go on the Dahlquist penalty. Norwood shot it, and we'll wait and see if anybody deflected it in.
Barrasso's having a tough time with people standing in front of the net, and the Penguins having a tough time moving them out of there. Norwood fired it to the net, and somebody, I think, got a stick on it and deflected it in, but we'll wait and see.
Well, another power play goal, and Detroit all of a sudden is back within a goal. So the Red Wings have cashed in. Norwood's going to get the goal, his 8th of the year. It did appear to hit something on the way to the net. And the Penguins, who at one time led 6-0 here, the Red Wings again firing right on. Shabbat got a shot going. Barrasso made that save. Coffey with a giveaway right in front of the Penguin net is a man, but Joey Koser can't get to it. Coffey played it outside the line back to center. The goal coming at 6:25 of period number 3. 6-5. And the Red Wings shoot it right back to the Penguin net. Barrasso steps out. Coffey takes command of it. Around the right wing to Troy Loney. Left point to Jim Pavis. Pavis. Detroit defenseman cuts in. He's not untouched. He'll stop in the corner. Look for somewhere to go with it. Right in front. A shot. Stop. And rolled away now to the left point. Red Wings chase after it. They'll play it down the boards. Burr put it between the circles. And Jimmy Johnson trying to clear. Can't. Troy Loney of Pittsburgh does send it away now to Dave McElwain. McElwain.
Bourque shaken up. He goes to the bench, limping.
He's going up to the locker room.
Yeah,
Bourque
he's
is
hurt bad.
Yep. And the puck played into the Penguin zone. Going for it, John Shabbat. Shabbat got it around the far side. Calendar looks now for Bob Harry. So the Penguins, who at one point in this game led 6-0, now have a 1-goal lead here in the third period with a lot of time left in regulation time. Lemieux Shoots it into Detroit territory. And in his own end of the rink is Doug Huda. Huda passing to defense partner Lee Norwood. Outlet now. Klima lets it go for Adam Oates. Storming the Penguins in. Coming down a drop pass. Deneen can't get it. Callender will. Callender of Pittsburgh looks right wing for Lemieux. Mario can't get to it. He has to chase after the Detroit end. Norwood works it around for Dave Barr. Barr's pass now to Adam Oates. Oates of Detroit finds Klima. He's into the Penguins in. Drop pass left side. And Norwood a slip shot, and the save is made by Tom Barrasso. We've got 11:52 to go here in the third period. The Penguins lead 6-5 on the Penguins Hockey Network. Cunnyworth beat it back into the Detroit zone, but the Red Wings are right there. Jim Pavis going to Peter Klima. Now it's center ice right side over to Mike O'Connell. Just lays it inside the Penguin stripe, and Chris Dahlquist finds Danny Quinn. Quinn to the Detroit blue line. Cuts down the slot. Trying to pass it through to the net. O'Connell cut it off for Detroit. And Peter Klima storms right back quickly to center. Going to Adam Oates. He's into the Penguins end, and now played it right inside the line, and Danny Quinn breaks up that maneuver. Shoots it back inside the Detroit line. Here come the Red Wings roaming back. On the near side, Adam Oates comes to the Penguin zone. Drop pass for Paul McLean, but he can't get to it. Callender has it. Outlet pass now to Mario Lemieux with 5 points on the night. Stick handles through Norwood. Going to the Detroit line. Right side to Jimmy Johnson. Fires it on. That's the first shot for the Penguins here in the period. And it comes almost halfway in. And not a very strong one, to say the least, by the Pens. And right now, the Red Wings trying to get back into this game and tie it. They're down by 1. Moved away to center to Mario Lemieux. He's going to the Detroit zone left side for the Penguins. Cuts across the ice. Drop pass to Jimmy Johnson. Comes in. He's pulled down. Penalty coming up against the Red Wings. Jimmy Johnson was hooked from behind. And the Penguins will get the turkey on the table. With 10:28 to go in the third period. 6-5 the score. Pittsburgh with the lead on the Penguins Hockey Network. Gerard Gallant of the Red Wings in for hooking, pulling down Jim Johnson. And the Penguins have their 5th power play chance. They're 1 for 4. And from the drop of the puck in the Detroit zone, the Red Wings unable to clear it out. Mario Lemieux has the puck. Trying to go over to Dan Quinn and hit a leg and carry him back to center. Coffey retreating into his own end. Back pedals going to Zarley Zalapski. Those are the 2-point men for the Pens, with Bork out of the lineup right now. And Yzerman putting pressure on Zalapski, but Zarley finds room and will pass right wing to Dan Quinn. Quinn dumping off the boards. And Hanlon cut it off nicely for Mike O'Connell. Blasted around the boards, and out it comes to center ice. Danny Quinn again sets up the attack. Going to Zalapski down the right wing. He is hit hard on the near side by Norwood. Norwood knocking down Zalapski. And we'll get a face-off here. Let's see what they call for it.
Gary Fraser saying it should be outside the blue line. He's saying that Zalapski covered it with his hand, it looked like to me.
Well, he's going to be...
Yeah. Would it be a hand pass? Why would he make that signal?
Well, he pointed outside the blue line. His decision is going to be final.
And he went like this with his hand, as if to say that he had covered it. Well, Zalapski has really looked pretty strong for the Penguins. Missing 20 games with that knee injury and coming back and almost looking as if he had never missed any games at all.
Tim Higgins out for the Red Wings, along with Jim Nill, with 1:17 to go in the Gallant penalty. And here's Zalapski now trying to feed it inside the line. He can't do it as O'Connell again stops the play and dumps it right back into the Penguin net area. They still have not given the Penguins a shot in this period. They did not credit Jimmy Johnson with a shot on goal. Apparently it wasn't on the net. It was too high. Now lifted back in behind the Detroit net. Here's Cullen on the power play. Cullen going to Mario Lemieux. Back to Cullen. Whistle sounds. Penalty coming up. Who's this going to be against? A holding call.
I think it's against Zalapski.
A holding minor coming up against the Penguins, going to even it up. And I'll tell you, not too healthy of a sign, because the Red Wings trail by a goal. They're going to have 1 minute and 8 seconds to work with on a power play when Zalapski goes to the box when the penalty is over to Gerard Gallant. And they've scored in their last 2 power play chances.
Zalapski was in around the cage. He had taken the puck in deep and forced it in deep. And then Cullen was trying to work the puck to Lemieux, and Zalapski was holding off one of the Red Wings and preventing him from getting over to prevent Cullen from getting the puck to Lemieux. So Zalapski kind of had a little problem on that shift. He gave the puck away for a moment in his zone end and fell down. He also fell down in the offensive zone. Then when he carried it in deep, he gets caught for holding. Well,
that'll be a 4-on-4 situation. Lemieux and Quinn against Yzerman and Peter Klima. With Norwood and Huda back, and for the Penguins, it'll be Paul Coffey and Jimmy Johnson. And the Penguins from outside the Detroit line have the puck. Lemieux trying to get into the zone. He does, but Klima's right there.
Great skill players on the ice right now, Mike, at 4-on-4.
And I think what the Penguins are trying to do is score in this situation if they possibly can, because they know the Red Wings are going to go to the power play. Here's Klima skating back. Drop pass for Doug Huda. It's behind him. Klima's got it again. Right side of the Penguins in. Comes in with a slap shot. Barrasso makes that save. The rebound. Jimmy Johnson trying to clear, and they run into the net. And it's dislodged again.
And that would have been a break for the Penguins up ice, and so it turns out to be a break for the Red Wings. You see Klima bust into that Pittsburgh zone, that loose puck. Johnson was trying to hold him off and get the puck out at the same time, and the puck slipped in behind Johnson, and Klima just went right after it and rifled that shot. Barrasso made the save. Klima has been a real threat out there tonight, playing as well as he can play, I think, right now for the Red Wings.
Boy, that was a big shot, too, that he put on Barrasso. Hartford still leading Quebec 3-1 in the third period. Toronto tonight at Vancouver in another National Hockey League game. That's the slate. Only 3 games on tap. Penguins trying to move back into first place in the Patrick Division. They have a 6-5 lead here against Detroit. 25 seconds to go on the Red Wings penalty to Gerard Gallant. And then the Red Wings will get a power play for 1 minute 8 seconds. Face off inside the Penguin blue line, near side. About 10 feet inside the line. Yzerman against Lemieux. Lemieux wins the draw. Dump it back to Paul Coffey, the Penguin defenseman. Gord Dineen now paired with him. Coffey goes to Dineen, and up on the play it comes to Bob Airy. Airy skates to the Detroit zone. Right side to Dineen. Wrist one. That'll miss. Off the left wing boards. It'll be Lemieux banking the puck in behind the Detroit goal. See where the Penguins have gone more to a defensive style, I think, right now with the penalty expiring. And here are the Red Wings on a power play. They put Airy and Lemieux out with Dineen and Coffey back and play to the Penguin net area. Coffey has it. Going to shoot it up high in the air. And it sails all the way through to the Detroit goal. On the move is Adam Oates. Oates of Detroit. Wheel and deal to the Penguins in. Lead a little right wing pass to Gerard Gallant, who just came on. Going to McLean. Back to the right point for Oates. And he looked down to see where it was. And he lost sight of it and went right by his stick. He was going to make a play, and he never had the puck. That happens. Here is Oates. Still from his own territory with a half a minute to go on the Penguin penalty. Kazarli Zalapski whacked up into the Penguins in. Around the boards to Gallant, left wing corner. Gallant put it behind the net, but it went too far for McLean. Right point it comes to Oates. Again sneaking in behind the Penguin goal to Gerard Gallant. Near side to Yzerman. Looks to shoot it. Does. Block. He picks it up again. Yzerman circling. Around the net, he tried to go to McLean, and Jimmy Johnson broke up that maneuver and shoots it up the other way to take the heat out of a hot kitchen with 4 seconds to go on the penalty. Here's Gallant rushing quickly back into the Penguins in, and Dineen takes it off his stick. Shoots it up for Lemieux. The penalty is over. Zalapski is on. Zalapski cuts for the net. He's in front, but cut off nicely by Jim Pavice. The Detroit defenseman before Zalapski could get there. Now Pavice losing the puck to Mario Lemieux. Now Lemieux knocked down. Lemieux still controls the puck. Wheel and deal down the slide. Here he comes. Trying to shoot it. He's turned around. Knocked down. Play goes on. Now with it is Yzerman. Yzerman back, and he got to hustle back. Here's Yzerman going down the right side. Does not go into the zone. He couldn't penetrate. He'll flip it up into the air to the near corner. Penguins in. Gord Dineen of Pittsburgh took a check from Klima, but made the play to Chris Dahlquist. And outlet right side to Jock Callender. Well, they all were thrilled with the play, but the Penguins did take a check on the play to get the puck out. Back to the Penguin line, and Dave Hannon will not let the Red Wings come in. He shoots it back to the Detroit blue line. Lee Norwood, near wing to Dave Barr. Barr ahead for Adam Oates. Boy, what a strong game he has had tonight. Adam Oates.
He's improved his skating dramatically.
Unbelievable. Oates now near side to Norwood. 6:18 to go in regulation time. Near corner to Dave Barr. Trying to go back to the left point. Is it held in? Yes, it is by Norwood. Drop it back into the left wing corner. Penguins in. Oates centers for Klima. Shooting and stopped by Barrasso. Klima right in front, point blank range, and he was stopped by Tom Barrasso. In behind the Penguin cage. And again, that net is upended.
Boy, Klima could have himself about 5 goals here tonight. That's how many great chances he's had. He does have one, but he could have a lot more.
And Adam Oates has been a big part of that, too. 6-5 Pittsburgh in the third. Trying to hold on the Penguins Hockey Network. Yeah, Peter Klima just moments ago, Paul, had a good chance to score. Barrasso denied him.
Tom Barrasso just dropping to his knees to make the save on Klima. Klima was kind of at a sharp angle and didn't have a whole lot of room to cut across and get much of the net. Barrasso took what net there was away from him. And then after Klima took the shot, he tried to go behind the net. He lifted his stick up, and Barrasso grabbed hold of that. So he's doing it all in there.
6 minutes and 1 second to go in regulation time. Penguins on 2 victories over the Red Wings this year, both at Pittsburgh. Here's Norwood. Right side pass to Huda. Slap shot, and he missed the goal. Into the right wing corner, John Cullen. Could not get it out. Klima controls. Klima. Shooted in behind the net. This is like a big boxing match where a boxer had built up a great big lead with points boxing, and now the Red Wings have battled back, and they're looking for a knockout punch to get back into the fight and tie it. It's just the way it's gone, and they've come within 1. Here's Dineen shooting the puck with the Detroit line, and Cullen moves in for the Detroit zone. Flipping it behind the net. Loney went after it. Loney hit hard on the boards by Dave Barr. Lemieux in digging for the puck back behind the Detroit goal. Centers it. One off a stick, comes back to him. He shoots it. Blocked by the Red Wings. Lee Norwood right in front, and he gets back up now and turns around John Cullen. And we now are down to 5:17. 5:17 to go in the game, and the Penguins lead 6-5 here in Detroit. They still have not put a shot on the board for the Penguins in this period. The one that came as close as any was the Jimmy Johnson shot, but they did not register that. So we've gone almost 3/4 of the period without the Penguins putting a shot on the net.
Hard to believe when you consider at the beginning of this game they had 9 shots on goal before the Red Wings had any. Lemieux was backpedaling and got that shot away against Hanlon, but Huda went down to block the shot. Mario had gone in, Loney working hard trying to gain possession of the puck, and Lemieux just came in and picked everybody's pocket and came out of there with it.
Norwood, who has his 8th goal of the year at 6:25 of this period to make it 6-5. We face it off now in the Detroit zone. Yzerman against Lemieux. And it'll be Bob Airy and Jock Callender on the wings. Controlled by McLean, and McLean back in behind his own net after the Red Wings control the faceoff. McLean left wing pass to Gerard Gallant. Gallant looking for Yzerman. Move quickly to the Penguins end. Cuts around, trying to get around Coffey. Held his stick, held puck in front. Goes in. The Red Wings have tied the game right in front. They have put it in to tie it with 5 minutes to go in regulation time.
And I think Steve Yzerman is going to get the goal, Mike. Yzerman just went to the net, and Barrasso went into the net along with the puck. The Red Wings have been doing that since the second period, really barging in on Barrasso. He's been knocked down a lot in the goal crease tonight. They just went right to the cage and got the goal.
Well, Yzerman made his move against Coffey and got in. It might have been McLean who got in front of that net. It just went between the legs. It's going to be Yzerman who will get the goal.
I'm not so sure that should be not be a goal, because McLean's in the crease. He never touched the puck, and Airy did not take him into the crease. He went there on his own, so he was not pushed in. He was standing in the crease when the puck went by him and into the goal, and he never touched the puck. Yzerman scored that goal with a man in the crease.
We are tied at 6 here in the 3rd period, and a dramatic comeback for the Detroit Red Wings. And the puck played on edge back into the Penguins' ends. Arlie Zalapski of Pittsburgh. And outside the line, carried back in by Shabbat. It is Yzerman who will get the goal. His 57th of the year with 4 minutes and 36 seconds to go. Here in 3rd period action, all tied now on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Night for Steve Yzerman. He never really even shot the puck on that last goal. It just kind of rolled off his stick as he tried to make a great move on Coffey. He made a great move on Coffey. And it went underneath the pads of Tom Barrasso. McLean, was he pushed in by Airy? Maybe he was. Airy, I think, helped knock his own goaltender over, too.
Yzerman's goal is 57th of the year at 15 minutes of the 3rd period.
After seeing it a second time, Mike, I think Airy did help McLean into the crease, knocked him off balance a little bit, and then the puck went into the net.
Now, after leading 6-0, the Penguins now are tied here in the 3rd period, and O'Connell now back in the Detroit zone. Mike O'Connell, right wing pass. Up ahead it comes to Adam Oates. 4:20 to go in regulation time. And dealt long into the Penguins' end. And this crowd, almost 20,000 in mass now. The Penguins have been given a shot on goal. I don't know where it came from, but it's on the board. And it happened right after the Red Wings had scored the goal. Now back in behind the Pittsburgh net. Arlie Zalapski defensively for Pittsburgh. And he doesn't have anywhere to go. There's no movement for the Penguins at all. They're stymied. I'll tell you, they're in trouble right now, the Pens. They're getting no movement Right wing pass to Lapsky off the board is going to be an icing call, and I'll tell you, the Pens are in trouble. Here is Zombo touching the puck. Penguins are just confused right now, and they're backpedaling.
They're reeling, as it were.
They can't seem to get any continuity going, and it all belongs to Detroit right now. And we still have 3:49 to go in regulation time.
The holding penalty that Zalapsky took on the power play was not a good one for the Pens. It gave the Red Wings an opportunity to even it up at that point and then get a little power play of their own and reestablish the momentum in this hockey game. The Penguins really needed to take advantage of that and put
I'm going to
this thing
argue
away.
with you. I'm going to argue with you. I'll tell you why. Penguins didn't have a shot on goal for 3/4 of the first period.
Yeah,
they
but
weren't even in the game. Whether Zalapsky takes
well, that was their
penalty,
chance. That was their chance
Well,
to start getting some shots.
I know. I mean, they just
They didn't get any.
They haven't done anything in the third. They just got to look at themselves. I mean, that's it's been a total team effort for the whole period, and Detroit rallied within 2 at the end of 2, and now they've tied it. And I'll tell you, this crowd had a great deal to do with it too. Don't kid yourself. They are really into the hockey here in Detroit. All right, from behind the Penguin net, let's see if the Penguins can solve the problem and get it going the other way. They dish it up deep into the Detroit zone, and Hanlon, who has not given up a goal at all in this game after Stefan gave up 6 to the Penguins, now tied at 6, and you would have to be here to believe it. Here comes Adam Oates now, cruising to the Penguins end. Down the left wing, trying to beat Zalapsky. Feed it in front, and where is it? Barrasso evidently got a piece of it. It went wide, and Kerry Fraser, I think, lost sight of it. Oates, terrific night for him, along with Yzerman. That backhander went right off his left pad.
Yzerman has 4 points.
And Adam Oates will sit out. There were the shots. 29 Detroit, Pittsburgh with 23. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know who got the shot, Paul. I really don't. Usually in that situation, it happened right after the Red Wings had scored, I believe, their 6th goal, coming right back down. But it just was so insignificant that really it didn't register.
Penguins had 9 shots on goal at the 9:36 mark. They've had 14 since in this game.
Yeah. And here is Jimmy Johnson cutting back now for the Pens after the face-off to center ice. Dump it in. We're tied at 6. And the puck is poked back in behind the Red Wings goal, but Rick Zombo, Penguins have nobody in there checking at all. The Red Wings clear to center and banged right back in behind the Red Wings net. Now they move people in. Lemieux and Erie come after the challenge the defenseman. Comes right wing. 2:55 to go in regulation time. Joey Koser dealing up to the Penguin goal, and Barrasso will stop it. Move it away to the near side. And on the move is Bob Erie. Erie of the Penguins looks for Lemieux. They collide with one another. And the Penguins are offside at the Detroit line. And Burr and Callan are now push and shove as Fraser will try and keep things under control. Here in Detroit. Well, if you've been with us, you've seen an unbelievable game. Penguins 6, Detroit 6 on the Penguins Hockey Network. Paul Steigerwald, Mike Lang here at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, where the Penguins and Red Wings are tied at 6 here in the final 2.5 minutes to go in regulation time. Here's Lemieux cruising back into the Detroit end, cut around Huda, trying to get in towards the net, pulled down. Play will continue as Lemieux looks for a penalty, as Huda just pulled him right down off his skates. That was pretty obvious there as Fraser turned his head. He has not called anything tonight involving Mario Lemieux, and Lemieux looks up and says something to Fraser, and Fraser barking right back at him.
Well, Fraser was looking right at Lemieux earlier when he kind of took a dive and tried to draw a penalty. It was pretty obvious. Had Fraser been behind Lemieux, he may have thought that he was pulled down, but he was looking right at the play and saw it from the front, and he didn't call anything earlier. Well, now this time Mario was legitimately pulled down, and it's almost like it becomes a little battle between the referees and Mario Lemieux.
Well, it has, and it's going to be, and I'll tell you why, because Mario had some things to say about him, and now they're offended by it, and they're a little thin-skinned, and they're going to be showing Lemieux that he can't run the game, and you're going to have that battle the rest of the year, I'm telling you. And they're just going to ignore it and say, okay, you want to play, we'll play your game, and we just won't call anything, and that'll happen. They're human, believe me, they're affected. They'll tell you they're not. Everybody is. They are that way. It happens. Now, how long it'll last, I don't know. But, you know, the word travels around. You got a lot of referees that Lemieux has to deal with. It isn't like one player that you have to deal with. You got to deal with a whole set of them. And
Lemieux was really letting it all hang out there as he went down the slot, trying to beat Huda and do it all himself. And the puck still rolled through the goal crease, wide of the net. And Lemieux was hauled down, nothing called. 2:25
this is
to go.
continuing now. Frazier talking. Explaining this situation to Mario Lemieux. And here we go. Pushed away to the Penguins' end. Coffey. Well, it's like the Penguins took a standing 8 count now, and they're back into this thing. Here they come into the Detroit end. Here's Lemieux trying to shoot the puck, and off the stick of Mike O'Connell. It's just like they were stunned, you know, with the Red Wings coming back, and I think now they're a little bit back into the game here as we approach the final 2 minutes and 13 seconds in regulation time.
Funny, this period has been interesting. Even though the Penguins haven't had any shots, it almost seemed like they were trying to just protect the lead that they did have and try to walk out of here with their 2 points and escape here. And the Red Wings just quietly went about the business of coming up with the 2 equalizers. The equalizer, it's now 6-6, and it has really been like 2 different hockey games in many ways, because the Penguins, I'm not so sure that they changed their game plan or anything. I just think the Red Wings finally started to decide to play hockey.
Handing on for the Penguins with Dave McElwain and Mario Lemieux. Face off Detroit in. Right wing circle, Sean Burr in against Hannon. And Hannon trying to push it to the corner. O'Connell whacks it up out of the zone all the way deep into the Penguins end. This will be an icing call called against Detroit. And they bring it all the way back into the Detroit into the rink. And I feel a little momentum going back the other way right now for some reason in favor of the Pens. It's funny. You just get that little edge or a little feeling in the game. McElwain comes off, Hannon comes off, and the Penguins will put Airy and Callender on. Tom Barrasso, the Penguin goaltender. The Red Wings have had 29 shots against him. The Red Wings converge now as they discuss their strategy. Boy, this has been a long hockey game, too. There's really not a lot of penalties. It just has been drawn out. Here's Lemieux, right wing circle, Detroit zone. In against Sean Burr. And Lemieux puts it right on the net from the face-off. That stopped by Hannon. Didn't have a lot on it. And the puck moved away back to center ice. From his own blue line, Mario Lemieux comes up with it. Now Lemieux won that face-off, did he not? Did he not put it on the net? He did, and there's no shot on the board at all. So the shots are a little deceiving. They very well could be. Here's Lemieux down the left side, going to Coffey. Moves in, trying to put it to Bob Airy, can't do it. And cleared by the Red Wings back to center. Jim Johnson of the Penguins, looking right wing to Jock Callender, belted by Lee Norwood, but Airy has it. Looking for Lemieux, but the pass behind him here with the Red Wings counterattacking. Gallant goes the off wing right side. Penguins in, drop pass, Yzerman shooting, and it's stopped by Barrasso. Now around the right side, kicked out by Huda, dumped in behind the Penguin goal for Yzerman. Those quick little darty moves, and he has it. Lemieux challenges him and knocked it off the stick and right back to center. Yzerman's after it again. He's wasting a little time. He's right back into the Penguins end. He seems possessed. He comes in. He shoots, and the stop by Barrasso. He seems to want that puck. On the move in the counterattack, though, with the Penguins is Cunneyworth. Leads the parade back into the Detroit zone with a minute to go in regulation time. And banged away back into the Detroit zone. Mike O'Connell going to Doug Huda. Huda stops. His pass to Mike O'Connell with 50 to go in the third period. O'Connell shoots it long right on Barrasso, and he'll make that stop. Tried to clear, could not. Barr has it. Barr moves in, snap shot right over the shoulder of Barrasso. And play is whistled down. What's the call going to be here? The linesman, Jerry Pateman, talking to Kerry Fraser as the whistle sounded. What is the call? Barrasso wants to know. He just shook his shoulders. What happened? Was it an offside play overruled on the part of referee Kerry Fraser, or did Mark Paris or Jerry Pateman get hurt? I'm not sure, Paul. I really have no idea what happened on the play.
Barrasso acted as if he knew that there should have been a call beforehand, and he came skating out of there as if to say, why didn't you call it before? I think he was looking for the call, and he had to hang in there and make sure he stopped the puck first.
Well, they face it off outside of the Penguin line. Obriaco motioned that he wanted to face off down to the Detroit zone. Maybe he was looking for an intentional offside. Maybe they called an offside play. All right, here we go. And the face-off won by Detroit with 35 to go in regulation time. Real deep in behind the Penguin goal, and Zalapsky defensively stumbles a bit. Red Wings go after it. And Dave Barr knocks down Zalapsky. He's already on top of the puck, and we'll get another face-off, this time in the Penguins' end. 26 seconds to go.
Well, I don't have to tell you that even if the Penguins come out of here with 1 point, it's going to be a very disappointing situation for them because they had the big lead. And they're coming off a 3-game losing streak, and I guess you'll take anything you can get, but will not leave a good taste in their mouths if they do not come up with 2 points here tonight. And if they come up with none, it's really going to be tough.
Detroit right winger Paul McLean, who has picked up a goal here tonight, is 31st. Yzerman has led the way back for the Red Wings with 4 points. Gerard Gallant works the other side, and the Penguins counter with Lemieux, Dave Hannon, and Troy Loney. That's the unit they'll have out here in this situation with 26 to go. And the Penguins win the draws. Lemieux, one at Zalapski, knocked down. Puck picked up now by the Red Wings. Gerard Gallant. Gallant moves it in front, and it's blocked by Zalapski, and Zalapski turns it over back to center. 12 seconds to go in regulation time. It appears we're going to go to overtime here at the Joe Louis Arena. Zalapski will take it from Barrasso, wind it around the left wing boards for Dave Hannon, and 3 seconds remain in the period, and we're going to overtime. We will go to OT here in Detroit, and the Red Wings really battling back. Have tied the game. We're going to take a 1-minute break right now. Break for 60 seconds. At the end of regulation time, it is 6-6 right here on the Penguins Hockey Network. Well, the Red Wings, Lee Norwood got his 8th on a power play goal at 6:25, and the game-tying goal right now by Steve Yzerman is 57th from Paul McLean, and that came at 15 minutes of the 3rd period. And so we're all knotted up. The shots on goal, the Red Wings outshot the Penguins 10-1 in that 3rd period, 32-23 in 60 minutes. But in fairness, I mean, I don't think the Penguins had more than 2 shots. I don't know if the man keeping the records on it has been fair with us, too. I thought Lemieux won the face-off and put a shot on. Jimmy Johnson's shot certainly could have been maybe registered as a shot. You know, maybe they're drawing a real fine line here. And nonetheless, they're 10-1, and we'll see what happens. Now the overtime, it's a brand new hockey game.
You know, the Red Wings have not won 2 in a row since December 9th and 13th. That's how long it's been. And the Penguins have not lost more than 3 in a row all season long. So one of those 2 stats could be broken here unless there's a tie, unless neither team scores.
The Red Wings in overtime are 2-1-9, and the Penguins are 1-0-5 in overtime in OT. Now, if the Penguins get a tie here tonight, if they should, against the Red Wings, there'll be a 3-way logjam at the Patrick Division's top spot. The Capitals, the Rangers, and the Pens. That is if, and assuming they get a tie, a win will give them the outright lead in the division. And a loss, they're going to stay behind.
This game has been like a microcosm of the Red Wings season. They've had problems keeping the puck out of their net, and yet they can score goals when they really want to. And Steve Yzerman mentioned between periods that they're a younger team, and they really are. In the last couple of years, they've had a lot of veteran players that they just kind of discarded, and now they're trying to learn how to win again with that defense and offense.
Big guns go up against each other to begin the overtime. Yzerman against Lemieux, and the Red Wings move it up into the Penguins' end. Paul Coffey with 2 goals on the night. Leader pass left wing. It comes to Erie. 3-on-2 develops. Goes to Lemieux. Lemieux now slows it down. Back to Erie in front. He's pulled down, and play continues. Gerard Gallant hauled down Bob Erie, and now the puck underneath those 2 as they're down on the ice. And we'll get a face-off in the Detroit zone to the right of Glenn Hanlon. Coffey and Jimmy Johnson paired up defensively for the Penguins with Lemieux's line with Erie and Jock Callender. We've played 19 seconds of this 5-minute overtime period. And remember, it is 5 minutes sudden death. If nobody scores at the end of that 5 minutes, the game goes in the books as a tie. Well, I don't think we're going to see many penalties here. Gallant might have been called even on an interference call there against Bob Erie, but I think the whistle's been put away. Now you got to do it on what you can. You just got to hang in. And there's Lemieux. He and Yzerman again go up against one another. Boy, it's a great individual battle here going on. The battle between Yzerman and Lemieux on the night. And Lemieux with 5 points, Yzerman with 4. And Lemieux wins the draw again. Left side. It goes to Coffey. Shooting. Block. Look out. Burr directs it back to center. So McLean comes off that line for defensive purposes. He's back on now as he steps out of the gate. And he has the puck and rolls it in behind the Penguin goal. Barrasso with a half a minute gone here in the overtime. Swinging around himself off the boards. Back down deep into the Detroit end. Hanlon will leave it for defenseman Rick Zombo, and Lemieux wants that puck also, as does Yzerman. We've got a great matchup here. Yzerman digging for it. Callender takes it. He tried to feed it behind the defense to Lemieux. Can't do it. Here come the Red Wings moving back to center. to McLean. Sends it back into the Penguins' end. Barrasso went ahead for Lemieux. It's off his stick. Will this be an icing call? I think it will be. Yes, it is. It hit Lemieux's stick, and they went up ice. So we played 59 seconds here of the overtime, and they'll get a face-off back in Penguin real estate. And now, in this overtime, of course, every face-off becomes so important. The Red Wings put on the ice Adam Oates with Peter Klima and Dave Barr. And the Penguins will counter with Dave Hannon, Danny Quinn, and Troy Loney. And every faceoff, I said, it's just so intense. And here we go. Hannon losing the draw. Comes to Klima. Slap shot. Never got to the net. Blocked in front by Zalapski. Has trouble clearing, though, but it does come to Dave Hannon. He has Quinn open ahead, and he can't quite get it to him. Nice play by Huda to cut off the pass. Directed back into the Penguins' end. Deneen got a piece of Adam Oates, who hops into the Penguins' end and belts Zalapski from behind with a body check, but he fell down. Penguins return the other way. Hannon going down to Cunnyworth. Weave his way into the Detroit zone. Cunnyworth falls down as he slips it in behind the Detroit net. Lee Norwood defensively for Detroit. Swing to the right of his own goaltender. Norwood moves around another check by Cunnyworth. Comes to center red, and he dumps the puck in. 3:25 to go in the overtime period. Zalapski belted again by Adam Oates. Behind the Penguin net. Oates has the puck. Trying to walk out, can't do it. Centers it right in front of Barrasso's stick. And the Penguins come up with it. Lemieux bursting back. Lemieux now driving to the Detroit line down the right side. Comes in for the Penguin. Lemieux shoots it softly around to the left wing corner for Dan Quinn. Quinn, I think, trying to get in, get a stick, get it back to Lemieux, and he will now behind the net. Lemieux turns, comes out, looks. Can he shoot it? He can't. He's too well covered by O'Connell. Penguins trying to keep it in. They will. They backhand it towards the goal, and O'Connell blocks that with 2:55 to go in the overtime. On the move, O'Connell to the Penguins line. Knocked down. Play goes on. And the Penguins have control of it. On the right wing, Jimmy Johnson. Johnson skates quickly to the Detroit end. They've got some room. Comes in, shoots it, and a stick save made by goaltender Glenn Hanlon. On the rebound, O'Connell steer it ahead. They try and get Yzerman's line back out here. Directed deep into the Penguins' end. Now Lemieux is on for some time, and he's got the puck again. Coming to the Detroit blue line area. Going to Bob Airy. Airy turns around. Looks for a trailer, and he can't find Dave McAway. Now Detroit takes command. And on the move is Yzerman. 2:20 to go in the overtime. Yzerman fell down as he cut into Penguin territory. Deneen plays it up the boards around for Bob Airy. Airy of the pens. Look ahead now for Dave Hannon off his stick. And it bounces right back into the Detroit zone. Deneen goes for it. Shoot it long to the net. And Hanlon will stop that. Red Wings can't clear. Hannon looking for the puck. Trying to put it in front for Loney. And that won't happen. Back on the move is Peter Klima. Klima skates left side, Penguins in, moves in towards the net, cuts in and shoots, and a stop made by Barrasso at the very last second. As Klima got a great shot off, but Barrasso a better save. Deneen around the near boards, looks for Callender. And he sends it back to the Detroit line. 1:38 to go in the overtime. Wrap back into the Penguins in and an offside call here against Detroit. Now Peter Klima with that chance. But again, Barrasso stopped him. Klima had 5 shots through the first 2 periods. He has, I think, at least 3 here in the third. A big night for Peter Klima. And at one point in this game, if you joined us late, the Penguins led 6-0. The Red Wings kept knocking away and pecking away, and they've come back to tie it. And we're in overtime right now with 1:34 to go in the overtime period, tied at 6. Well, you talk about some wheels. Peter Klima has those. Can he fly? He's going to be on here. Going to keep Adam Oates on. The Penguins will counter with Lemieux. Puck dropped outside of the Penguin line, and the Red Wings take command of it. Rick Zombo shoots it quickly back into the Penguins end. It'll come around to the near side. Adam Oates kicked at it. Coffey of the Penguins has it. Coffey's passed to Dave McAway, and McAway looking for Airy. So Lemieux, Airy, and McAway, the trio out. Back inside the Penguin line. McAway takes the puck, falls to his knees, goes to Mario Lemieux with 1:10 to go in the overtime. Lemieux to McAway. Start his way into the Detroit zone. Check the side and get back to center. And here's Adam Oates. Oates down the left wing, held by Jimmy Johnson. And no penalty called as he pulled him down to the right point of the Penguins end. Zombo bowled over by Bob Airy, and here's the play of center ice to Dave McAway. Looks for Lemieux. He goes instead to Coffey, and the Penguins are just offside of the Detroit line. with 48 seconds left in the overtime. I don't think there was much question. Jimmy Johnson pulled down Adam Oates, but I don't think Frazier's going to call anything right now. He put that whistle away, and you can forget it. .48 seconds left. Here in the overtime period. And this faceoff will be outside of the Detroit line. Yzerman against Lemieux. Penguins will put Loney out here. McElwain's going to come off. Is that the situation or not? What are we going to have here? What are the Pens going to put on the ice? They could call a timeout too if they wanted to here for extra rest, but they're going to put Loney and Hannon on. So the Pens, I think, are going more to defensive role. They're not going to get a whole lot of goal production out of Hannon and Loney with Lemieux out here against the Yzerman line. It would look to me as though the Penguins are going to play defense against the Red Wings. And the faceoff won by Detroit. And here's Yzerman playing the puck ahead, but Lemieux comes up with it. Mario shoots it back into the left wing corner. Off the boards behind the net with 37 to go. And the Red Wings have possession of it. Right wing pass. It will come to Yzerman. He gave it away at the Penguin line to Zarley Zalapski. Zalapski gave it right back to the Red Wings, and here they come. McLean into the Penguins' inbound. Lemieux is all over him. Worked it free back to center with 23 to go. And Loney now starts up. Near side pass over to Gord Dineen, knocked away. Dineen play it up the boards into the Detroit zone. 13 to go. Lemieux is after it. Lemieux trying to get in. He's pulled down. Play goes on. Loney behind the net. Loney centers. There's Hannon. He shoots and he's stopped by Lieutenant Hanlon. 5 seconds remain in the game. Oh, great balls of fire. Hannon wide open coming down. He had the shot against Hanlon with 5 seconds to go, and he couldn't put it in. Lemieux made a remarkable play to center it out. The Penguins came that close to going ahead and winning the game, but not to be as Hanlon came up tough. Lemieux was pulled down, then got himself back up. Or was Loney who went behind the net, I beg your pardon. And Loney made a great pass in front, and Hannon right there. He could not beat goaltender Hanlon. Five seconds left. We're tied at 6, and the faceoff will be brought outside of the Detroit line. And it appears as though we'll have a tie game here tonight. Well, Dave Hannon has a goal in this game, his 5th of the year, but he's not noted as a great goal scorer. And he almost gave the Penguins a victory there. Troy Loney made a nice pass from behind the net. But we talked about it. The Penguins went to more of a defensive mode against the Yzerman line. They almost got the game winner in that situation. And now a timeout has been called. Tonight at Hartford, the Whalers beat Quebec 4-2.
Pittsburgh calls timeout.
Goals tonight for the Hartford Whalers: Tippett, Martin, Babbage, and Ferrero. His 30th of the year. For the Quebec Nordiques, Michel Goulet and Mike Huff. The final goal on an empty netter by Ferrero. And one of the game tonight, the Whalers tonight had 50 shots on goal against the Nordiques in that game. Now again, the Penguins with an opportunity as Hannon left it behind the net, and Loney went in, made a nice centering pass. In alone was Hannon. He was wide open coming in, and he just could not beat goaltender Hanlon. Big chance there. Penguins called a timeout with the faceoff outside of the Detroit line. And Dave Hannon sits in the Penguin bench. Boy, he'd have loved to put it in, I'll guarantee you that. Snapped the 3-game losing streak. From outside the Detroit line, Hannon gets the assignment here against Steve Yzerman. Lemieux isn't even on. Yes, he is on the ice. Penguins use him like a trigger man here. The puck dropped, though, and the Red Wings have it. Here's Norwood shooting. That'll be wide, and time runs out. That'll do it. Zalapski now, as the game is ended, involved with Gerard Gallant. They've got their arms wrapped around one another. And I think the tempers will cool down here as the game ends. Arlie Zalapski and Gerard Gallant. And that'll do it. Well, a big come from behind tie for the Detroit Red Wings here tonight at the Joe Louis Arena. The coffee now and bar have words as the game is ended. And Gallant now and Coffey, and they really are barking one another. Well, the tempers are a little short here. The Penguins are a little frustrated. Here's Gallant and Coffey really mouthing off to one another here on the ice. Frazier's going to separate everybody, and I think we'll go back and finish this game and be all done. Yeah, that'll be the case. All right, a 6-6 final here in Detroit. Penguins 6, Detroit 6 on the Penguins Hockey Network. Well, the final score tonight, the Penguins and the Red Wings skate to a 6-6 tie. And the shots in the overtime, the Penguins had 2 in the overtime. The Red Wings finished with just 1 in the overtime, not 4. They had 32 going in to that overtime period. And the game totals 33 for the Red Wings and 25 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Our overtime show is coming up. Yeah, in addition to overtime, we're going to be back, and we'll have an interview from the locker room and a recap of everything that happened here tonight. And we'll tell you a sellout crowd of 19,875 saw this one tonight. The final again, the Penguins 6 and Detroit 6. And you've watched and listened to it right here on the Pittsburgh Penguins Hockey Network. So overtime, where tonight the Pittsburgh Penguins and Detroit Red Wings skated to a 6-6 tie here. The Penguins, by gaining the point here tonight, have moved into a 3-way tie for first place in the Patrick Division with the Rangers and the Washington Capitals. Both teams with 70, all 3 teams with 70 points apiece. Let's take a look at the scoring summary and what happened here tonight. Dave Hannon got the Penguins off to the lead on a power play goal at 3:11 of the first period. Then Danny Quinn, John Cullen added goals to make it 3-0, and then Coffey scoring at 18:12 of the period to make it 4-0 Pens at the end of 1. Into the second period, the Penguins up their lead on Callender's 3rd goal of the year at 5:14. Coffey then his 2nd of the night at 6:06, and it prompted the departure of goaltender Greg Steffen. And from that point on, then it was all Detroit as the Red Wings came back. Klima connecting, Yzerman scoring for the Red Wings to make it 6-2. Then McLean cashed in again in the second period. Barr, a power play goal late in the period, and the Red Wings were back within 2. We went to the final period, and it was Lee Norwood's 8th of the year to pull the Red Wings within 1 on a power play goal, and Yzerman got the game-tying goal 15 minutes in with only 5 minutes to go in regulation time, and that was it. So the Red Wings gain a tie, a big dramatic come-from-behind point for them. No scoring, of course, in the overtime. Penguins scored the first 6 goals, and the Wings, of course, came back. Penguins had only 1 shot in the 3rd period. Lemieux gets 5 points on the night, all assists. Coffey has a pair of goals, and Yzerman with a 4-point night for the Red Wings. We'll be back in a moment here from the Joe Louis Arena, where the Penguins and Wings skated to a 6-6 tie on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Hanlon is our guest on the post-game show. He's the man who was the number 2 star tonight. He came in after the Penguins had scored 6 goals, and he shut the door on the Penguins. And Glenn, it was just like 2 different hockey games. We mentioned that to Steve Yzerman between periods, but your club really showed a lot of character tonight in coming back.
Yeah, I mean, we've really had some times this year where we haven't come back, and tonight that was a real good sign for us, especially against a hockey club the caliber of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we're happy with the point, and I know that Pittsburgh, I'm sure they felt that they were robbed of a point, but I'm sure they'll make it up somewhere down the line.
Davey Hannon had a chance right at the end of the game with only about 6 seconds to go, and you made a save on him. Maybe talk about what happened there.
Well, I went to set the puck up here, and I sort of gave the puck away for our defenseman. Mario had it, and I thought he was going to get a shot here. He didn't get it, so I just thought he was going to come back to the puck there, and then I knew it was a wraparound, so I didn't want to beat me to the post, so I just kind of got tried to get low there, and it sort of hit me in the stomach, and then I just sort of batted it out of the air as it went by. You got to be lucky sometimes because I was just sort of falling.
Well, I'll tell you, it was just one of those nights when goaltenders probably wish they'd have stayed home, I would think, except for you. Tough situation coming in like that when it's 6-0. I mean, what do you think when that happens?
No, actually, it's not as difficult to say as if the score is 2-1 or you're up 3 goals, and then you know that the job has been done, and it's up to you to make sure that you keep the puck out. Here, I'm sort of going in a no-loss type of situation, regardless what happened. Maybe if I let in another 6, there might have been a few boo birds to contend with by the time the game was over. But as far as the game, really not much pressure until that 6th goal goes in for us, and then you know you're the goalie of decision, and then it's time that you want to make sure you get that point or that win.
Of course, the Penguins really didn't have a lot of chances in the 3rd period, and they only had a couple of shots on goal. Did you sense the Penguins going into a shell? Do you think you did that, or was it more credit to the Red Wings maybe finally getting their game together?
Yeah, well, that's a tough situation. I mean, you get up. I mean, every team has gone through it at one time or another where you get up a lot of goals and then you just sort of have a tendency to relax or not to be as intense as you should, and then next thing you know, the team gets one. You say, okay, then the team gets another one, then you're really starting, and then especially at home. I mean, if this game was played in Pittsburgh, obviously, we wouldn't have come back for that win. But we get some goals, the crowd's into it. That motivates us, and it sort of is a little intimidating for the visiting team, and we come out of it with a point.
All right, and a point I guess you deserved, and the Penguins feel probably very bad like now, like they lost the game. It's got to be a tough one for them. Thanks a lot for coming on with us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Glenn Hanlon, Detroit Red Wing goaltender, has been our guest, and we'll return to the Joe Louis Arena in just a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Penguins and Red Wings at a 6-6 tie, and let's look at and tell you about the standings in the Patrick division. Right now, 3 teams all tied. The Penguins actually would get the nod here as the top team with 32 wins, one more than the Rangers, but it doesn't matter because they're all tied with 70 points apiece now through this point in the season. Philadelphia behind with 63, and New Jersey with 52 in 5th place, and the Islanders with 45. Out of town on the U.S. Air scoreboard, other games tonight. One other final. Hartford beat Quebec tonight 4-2. And Toronto at Vancouver. They are just underway at Vancouver, and there's no score in that game in the first period. Quickly, the 3 stars here tonight. The number 3 star went to Penguin center iceman Mario Lemieux. The number 2 star to Glenn Hanlon of the of the Detroit Red Wings. And what a well-spoken guy he is. Huh? Entertaining and enjoyable to listen to. And Steve Yzerman, the number 1 star in tonight's game, and he is our player of the game. Our next KBL game will be on Tuesday, March 7th, as the Penguins take on the Los Angeles Kings at Los Angeles. Our next game will be on Saturday night from the Nassau County Coliseum when the Penguins battle the New York Islanders. That game will be both on our Penguin radio and television network. Radio side at 6:50, on the TV side on TV 53, WPGH, and of course TV 8 in Johnstown, Altoona. That'll begin at 7 o'clock. 19,875 saw this one tonight in Detroit. And the Penguins and Red Wings skate to a 6-6 tie. Now for Paul Steigerwald, this is Mike Lang saying so long, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.